At least you can visit.
Alrighty, well, welcome to this week's Tokwa Ask Us Anything end of 2021 special. It's been a fairly quiet news week. I've sort of been a bit lazy, so I've only got a couple of items of news, except for any other items that might come up later in the show. Our first news item is the fact that Tesla has released version 11 of the user interface, and I think the best feature of it goes a little bit something like this. We'll naturally get into the rest of version 11 shortly in the program. Our last bit of news that I've put in today is that Elon Musk has completed the sale of 15.7 million shares, and in so doing has acquired all 22.8 million options of the 2012 CEO compensation plan. For those that aren't familiar with that plan, it went a little bit like this. Um, what I'll just do is spotlight this because it's a bit hard to see. So basically what you can see is that at the time, Tesla basically had a market capitalization of $3.2 billion. And up until 2018, where this graph was created, basically went to a 17 times gain in market cap from 3.2 billion to 52.4 billion. Of course, these days that looks pretty small, but we can get into that a bit later. And there goes the Tokwa Ask Us Anything news. And we'll just reset this momentarily. And we're back to normal. There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, so obviously that 52 odd billion dollars didn't look like a lot considering that Tesla has gone back up beyond $1 trillion. So that 17 times X of 2012 has now become 17 times 19 times. And my maths isn't really good, but that's got to be close to about 400 times the market cap at their, in 2012. So there you have it. First thing before we get any questions is there anyone new to ask us anything? If there is, please shout out, say hello, put your hand up, or say whatever, any way you can.
We're a bit short on numbers tonight, aren't we?
I think we are because we're all partying. Many of us are partying. Pete's down south having a great time without us, which is probably a good thing. But yeah, okay, I think we've got everyone we've got. Welcome back, Mark, George, Paul, Jared, Barry, Nigel, Peter, Russell, Bell? No, is there a Bell? Yes, there is. Russell Bell. There's a Peter Russell Bell. No Clarks. Doesn't matter. All right. So, anyone got any news? I think, Paul, you were talking about a little interview that Elon Musk had with Lex Friedman.
The Lex Friedman interview, 2.5 hours. It was quite interesting watching it actually today, because Lex asks decent questions, but he also gives Elon time to answer. So normally you get more nuanced answers and sometimes good tidbits and things like that as well. So yeah, that was really good. I recommend it to anyone to watch it and that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Lex does long form interviews. I think, yeah, like you said, it was over 2 hours, and it was quite insightful. I mean, he obviously did some of the memes. He was voting on memes, which is that was towards the end of the show. That was sort of less so entertaining.
Yeah.
But some of the deep dives into the way full self-driving, the actual, I think Elon Musk said that Andre Karpathy basically said that the neural nets are eating the code. So they're basically replacing a lot of C code with neural networks. Yeah, which is pretty interesting. Now, speaking of things that have been eaten, we've got a new feature set for the version 11 user interface. I'll just bring it up here. So basically, we gained an editable light show. You get dark mode, simplified controls, customizable app launcher, which has been a little bit controversial. You can tune your subwoofer, which is always useful. You can edit waypoints, which is way better. You can also hide map details. You've got a blind spot camera, which is pretty cool. You can also manage your dash cam clips a bit better, and you can have Sentry Mode live camera access. For those of us who are under 15, we can look at TikTok. We can play Sonic the Hedgehog and a couple other games. Sudoku, sorry. And you've got the boombox megaphone if you've got an external speaker on your car. And we've got cold weather improvements, auto seat heaters, and car wash mode, which I thought we already had, but anyway. So has anyone actually used the remote Sentry Mode live access? Anyone tried that?
We don't have it yet. It's regulation. So
North America only at the moment.
Yeah.
Right.
We're not that far off. I was talking. Oh no, I can't say who I was talking to. Let's just say a little birdie told me we will get it. It's just the last little hurdle sort of stuff. So.
Yeah, cool. And what about this blind spot camera? Have you guys got that?
Yep. And it's a little bit useless because it's in, you know, where your speedo is and all that. That section there, it appears in the bottom right-hand corner, just where your hand is.
Right when you put the indicators on, your hand's over the top of it.
So your hand's over it, so you sort of lean out, and it's like, well, why don't you just look over your shoulder? So I'm sure they'll fix that in a software update.
It needs to be programmable in its position, so you can click and drag it and move it somewhere. Top left would have been a much better place to have it.
You know, that big screen to the left of that. So I was being a smartass, and I put the reverse cameras on and then flicked it. And what it doesn't actually show the blind spot, it just has that there. So I was like, oh, okay. So that's one or the other. So
right.
If it's helpful or not.
So if you flick your right indicator on, the image, where the image appears is the same section of the screen. It doesn't change from the left or right of the screen.
Yeah,
it's always in the same spot. I mean, with the Hyundai Ioniq, Kia EV6 and so on that have got that feature, it appears on the screen in front of the steering wheel on the right or the left, which is a much more sensible spot. Where he's got it at the moment, it's not the best spot. And I know a lot of people have turned it off after having it on because it was where it is, it's pretty useless.
It might be better on left-hand drive cars if the indicator stalk's on the same side on those.
Yeah, but
Because it's then on your right-hand side. So your hand isn't in front of it then.
no, but it then appears on the left-hand side of the screen.
Yeah, but
So-
the indicator stalk is still, if the indicator stalk is still on the left-hand side of the steering wheel,
Yes.
it's okay.
Unless you're driving with your hands at 9 and 3, in which case your hand's in the wrong way, is in the
Yeah.
way.
I think a lot of these things is being done by someone at a computer that's not driving the cars, because a lot of the words now are really small. So I find it, with my eyes, it's a bit hard to see. And it's just like, I flicked it between dark mode and light mode just to see the difference. And yeah, it's a bit hard to actually read the streets now, and all your icon stuff is a lot smaller now.
Do you want the braille mode, Paul?
Yes. No, I just want to be able to, that the voice commands all work. So then that way I don't have to go hunting around in there.
I do like the fact that it's a bit darker with the reverse and drive. The writing's a little bit darker on the top now when you go into dirt or earth.
Yeah.
I like that better because you actually see it a bit better. So
I agree.
I think that's better.
The major problem I've got is that you used to be able to see who was driving. So when you get in the car, you put your foot on the pedal,
Yep.
and it tells you who it's adjusting for. Because wife and I both drive the car, and we fight to get who's first at the door. The car has a bit of a random selection. It will randomly select. Sometimes it's the last person who drove. Sometimes it's the nearest phone. And I'm the unpriority phone, so it picks me up most of the time, but not always. And it used to be on the top of the screen. So once I touch the pedal, it starts making me 5'2" and with my knees and my steering wheel in the stomach.
Yep.
But now it doesn't tell you. So you don't know till you're halfway there. You think, oh shit, it's making me a lot shorter and my head's going to smack into the roof soon. Yeah, you've now got to pick on the car icon to see who it's decided is going to drive this car, which is crazy.
Yep. Yeah, I had that problem today because I
Yep.
took the car to Tesla service, and then I got in the car and it was like,
Well, the major problem was, you also used to have, when it was working, it was right on the screen there and you could stop it. But I had a passenger in the back. This is the first time the software update's done. First time I get in, we've got a passenger in the back. You accidentally undo your seatbelt. You think, oh shit, and I've got the easy out job. So it goes right back and his legs are being crushed. He's just about to get his shins broken and I can't find where to stop it because it's not on the screen anymore. Now, just a tip for anybody else, of course, if you reach down and grab your seat controls, it stops as soon as you manually do anything. But that took me a while to figure out. But he's got out of hospital now, so that's fine.
That's great. So no doubt you'll be getting a letter from his lawyers shortly. So
I should think so. No, we'll send it on to Hilton. He'll be fine.
The good thing about all this that Jared will be happy is the Leaf isn't having these problems at the moment. It's still going strong. There's no interface issues and it doesn't crash the legs. So his Leaf is still good.
Now speaking of leaves, I'd like to welcome back Charles. He's actually from the future because it's nearly 11 o'clock for him. So well, welcome back, Charles. It's great to have you back.
Hey Harold, just thought I'd pop in again just to say hello and see what's happening in your faraway land.
Yes, well, we've sort of been, as you can tell, we're whinging about version 11 of the user interface. And just to extend that little bit of whinge, one thing I've tried to do in my car, and I think it's probably the same in threes, is if you're playing an audio track on Spotify, it's almost impossible to actually advance the track forward because there's like this little pencil thin, probably 1 pixel high line with no little ball like indicator where the actual progress is. And you've got to very carefully sort of put your finger on whether you think that line is, and then you can drag the track along if you want to advance it. And that's, pretty painful.
Same problem with the fan as well. You can't just nudge the fan anymore.
No,
Or just sort of stab at the screen wildly and hope that it goes where you want it.
Well,
Harry, you look like you've had a-
you can use the commands to actually do it. That works. But you feel a bit embarrassed when you keep asking the car to blow you.
I don't know what the opposite of blow me is, though.
Carmen, they're talking about air conditioning. They're talking about the air conditioning blowing. That's what they're talking about. I get confused with it. Barry, did you have a bad couple of days? I think I saw a photo of something.
Yeah.
What happened there?
I went out to get a $2.50 part and ended up it costing me over $600. Yeah.
Jeez.
And, had a bit of a bump on, so it's got to go in for repair. So yeah, there goes my low claims and everything else. Yeah.
Which insurance company are you with?
RAC.
Oh, yeah, be fine.
Ah. So is that why the premiums are going up then?
Can't hear you, Carmen.
Mine will go up, that's for sure.
Makes
But I'm
sense.
not sure what they're going to do because they've sent me to my local repair agent here, who's a very reputable place and been there since Noah was a lad. But they're not Tesla recognized, so I don't know how that's going to work.
It's a special body part thing or something.
Actually, speaking of insurance, Chuck, out of interest, how much is your car to insure in Tassie?
Oh,
Without getting
Free.
too personal.
It's free
No,
in
I'm-
Tasmania. It's a family
Just trying-
plan, they call it in Tassie.
I'm just trying to think now. I've got like house and contents and car and everything all on one sort of plan. So I'm trying to think how much it is. It is exactly for the Leaf. I think it's close to. I would say maybe it's $80 a month.
Oh, okay, that's very reasonable. That's not too bad.
I did a quote early this year. I'm trying to add just to see what a Model 3 would be to insure through the same plan, and I sort of took the Leaf off and added that, and it was an extra $80 a month, something like that.
So you mean 160 roughly?
$160 a month, yeah.
Oh,
Right. So that's about $1,800 a year or so.
Yeah.
I think so. And that was, I think I put the quote in to include using it for ride sharing, just in case I wanted to do that in the future. I just included that.
Yep.
So I haven't
found
gone
my
back
Carmen
to
rate.
it again recently, but
Well, the ride sharing part of things drastically increases the insurance. It almost doubles it.
oh, geez. Yeah, I think if I did go today, I'd hopefully do enough ride sharing to cover the increase in costs, I guess.
Yeah, because my insurance originally was about 1,000, and then halfway through the year, I added in Uber driving, and they said, "Oh, that'll increase the premium from your 1,000 to 2,500."
geez.
Yeah,
Weren't trying to include just some other general increase in with that as well, were they?
now when
oh.
I cancelled it, I got a nice big chunk of money back because I only did it for about 6 months. So I got about the $600, which is about half the increase almost. They refunded it.
There you go.
Oh, so they prorated you basically for the time.
Yeah,
Oh, that's quite reasonable of them in that sense.
Very unlike an insurance company to be reasonable. Jeez. I don't
it's
think
the
that's-
RAC,
I
not
don't think
the
it's in their
not the
policy.
Moscow Mafia.
Carmen, what's your opinion on the RAC? Have you got any kind words you want to say to them? Maybe send out a Merry Christmas to the RAC or a Happy New Year, Carmen?
No, they're a work in progress.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they're not up to standard yet.
Right, okay. You'll get them sorted though, won't you?
Yes, I'll make the appointment and get you to come with me.
No problem.
Speaking of sorting things out,
There.
speaking of sorting things out, I've finally sorted out some freight for some Type 2 cables, and as you can see, I've got a couple in stock. So I'll be sending replies to everyone that's emailed me requesting a Type 2 cable that they now are well and truly in stock.
Were you giving them out as Christmas presents, Harold?
No, but
To the
they're
kids? All your kids got one, the wife got one.
yeah. So
You get one. You get one. You get one. You get
It was
one.
an Oprah Winfrey Christmas at
Yeah,
Harold's
exactly.
place. Everyone gets a Type 2.
Yeah, you could almost throw them into the crowd, except you'd end up injuring them because they do weigh a couple of kilos, to say the least.
Oh, I'm
But-
just wondering, is shipping to Western Australia so much that you need to bulk order cables like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a hassle. China's imposed a 300 kilo per customer per day pickup limit, at least in Greater Shenzhen, where these cables come from. So it's been a long process. They actually arrived in Sydney via air because FedEx basically said they weren't able to fulfill the order or carry it. So they had to use an alternative carrier that only flies into Sydney. So arrived in Sydney on the 13th of December, left on the 17th by road, arrived at Christmas Eve, and then we weren't going to get it for another couple of weeks because work shut. So I just went to the depot today and picked them up and shoved all 350 odd kilos in my car, all 20 boxes, and drove them home. So so apologies to all those people who've emailed me and sent messages, but now I'll finally be replying to you and furnishing these Type 2 cables, which, by the way, are 7.5 meters long in a carry bag. And we do them that long because it's always useful when you get iced. There's always a possibility of parking next door to the charger, or possibly even 2 cars along if there's a bay available. So that's just one of the perks of being a member of the club. You get that for $265, or non-members are $300. And with a $20 membership, of course, it becomes a no-brainer. But there you go. Now, anyone new? I think, Dave, you look new. Welcome if you are, or welcome back if you're not. Oh, sorry, you just unmuted. Sorry, you just muted yourself. You've got to unmute.
Gone, gone.
Unmute.
No, there you go. There you go. That's it.
Yeah, this is the first time I've logged in. I want to try and get some information on what the hell premium connectivity is
Yes.
and why I care, and whether it's worth fitting a 15 amp socket to charge the car.
Okay, so the first thing is premium connectivity is free for with your car for the first 3 months, I think it is. Is that right?
Or
First
is it
year.
30
1
days
month,
now?
1 month.
1 month.
30 days.
Oh, 1 month. Okay.
Unless it's a performance, it's 1 year.
Right. And then
1
thereafter
year.
and then thereafter it is $10 a month.
Yeah.
I think. Now Jo, who will be coming on later, if you're still around, Dave, she's an expert at judiciously dipping in and out of premium connectivity, which you can actually purchase by the month. And the good thing is you can just pay the $10 and you get a whole month. You can basically pay for it, cancel it straight away, and that month will still persist. And it's great for watching things like YouTube or Netflix or whatever while you're parked in the car. One thing premium connectivity gets you is streaming audio, so through Spotify and TuneIn for radio stations. It'll also give you a visualization of where, via Google Maps, of where there is traffic congestion. However, Jo has worked out that even if you don't have premium connectivity and you navigate to somewhere, the car will actually take into account congestion. Even though it won't visualize it, it will change the route that you're on to accommodate
And I can
congestion.
confirm that as well. It's done it to me, and I don't have premium connectivity.
So Dave, it's certainly something you can choose to either dip back into and pay for. I mean, I guess in one sense, it's $120 a year. You know,
You also get the maps go onto the satellite view as well if you wanted to use that. And
Yes.
You also get the karaoke if you're look like a bit of a probably a Taylor Swift fan by the look of you, so you can play a bit of like Taylor Swift and sing along. And
That's-
also web browser as well, that comes with it.
Someone
Oh,
tweeted
yes.
Elon yesterday, I think, about having a yearly sub on that for, say, $99, and he said that was a good idea. And not implemented yet, but so that's a bit of a discount on the $9.99, which is $120 basically, down to say 99 was the suggestion. I thought that was quite a good idea.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think
And
as a point of principle, it shouldn't be charged for.
One other thing that you will find though, Dave, is right now that's the functionality that's been limited with premium connectivity, but in the future, there's bound to be other add-ons like the Sentry Live View, which will require premium connectivity to use as well. So for the moment, if you're not using those things we spoke about, you probably don't need it. But as things develop, you might find it's useful in the future.
Yeah, and
Now-
Probably just
Carmen,
go a month
it's
without
got,
it and see what happens. If you don't use it, then don't buy it anymore.
yeah, it's got to be charged for, Carmen. It uses Telstra 4G, which there's a charge. Telstra will be charging Tesla, so they've got to pass on the car. The
Oh,
cost.
sure. If it's for Netflix or the movies or whatever, yes. But the car functions are car functions.
yes, and the thing is, it'll still navigate successfully without premium connectivity. So they can still push software updates through the GSM network if they need to, particularly if they're a safety update. So yeah, the car will definitely still function without premium connectivity because it still is connected to the internet.
Yeah.
You can
if you
still
use your
start it
phone-
remotely.
If you tether your phone, you can still use the web browser, but the other functions aren't going to work either. So that's the only one you get extra if you like pair your phone when you're driving.
Yeah. I don't need it because I normally listen to Audible, but through my phone. But one thing I'm not getting it, I'm not able to connect my phone directly on Audible to the car, and I'm not sure why.
You need to on your phone on Audible. There's a it's not a streaming button. I forget what they call it. It's
You got to make the device that plays to change.
yeah. You tell it. Actually, you can probably do it from your when you go into your audio settings on your
Yep.
phone. I think you're on an iPhone. There will, depending on what's playing, and Audible may be on that widget. You can then you then have to cast it to your car, presuming your phone has been connected to Bluetooth to your car.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
it will probably work. So it's like casting it to a where you can cast it to lots of things, TVs, smart TVs, and other things, and it should be able to be cast to your car.
Oh, okay.
So do give that a try, Carmen.
Yeah, will do.
Now, Dave, the other question was, should you get a 15 amp socket? I guess.
Yep.
In short, if you're using your UMC, which came free with your car as the primary means of charging your car, and if you found that using a 10 amp socket isn't really charging it fast enough, getting a 15 amp socket installed will increase your charge rate by 50%. So I think it's roughly 23 kilometers per hour is what you can get at 15 amps, and you can get about 33% less than that on the 10 amps. Now, technically, you need to get an electrician to install it. A 15 amp outlet ought to be on its own separate circuit breaker, which needs to be a 20 amp circuit breaker with appropriately sized cable, and that's the sort of the appropriate way to have it done. But
how many Ks a week or a day would you drive, Dave?
Not that many. But
Yeah,
when
so-
I charge, my phone says it's charging at 7 amps. So it takes a bloody long time to recharge.
Okay, so you said 7 amps.
That's what the phone says it's working at.
Okay, so on your phone, well, you can do it on your phone. The phone isn't necessarily as reliable as the car, but if you go into the charge screen and you can up the amps, just in case you might have accidentally reduced it for some reason, it ought to be charging at 10 amps. How old's your car,
Yeah, I
Dave?
thought that.
How old's your
Sorry?
car? How old
Picked
is
it
your
up on
car?
this- I picked it up on the 6th of December.
Oh, right, yeah. So it'll be fine. So it'll have a tail like this. This is the 10 amp tail.
Yeah.
And if you look
Mhm.
in the small print just between the pins, you should see a marking that says 10 amps. So your car should definitely be getting 10 amps out of that outlet. So what you should do is just hop in the car next time you're charging it and just check. Well, now the user interface has all changed, but click on the charging icon and make sure that the current, just press the up arrow until the current hits 10 amps, just in case
Yeah,
you've inadvertently reduced it to 7 amps.
This is
Yeah,
my
no worries.
one here. It's not plugged in, but you've got a slider on the charging thing, and it's on that screen, and it comes up just underneath the car when it's charging, and you can slide it up and down.
Okay, thank you.
Harold, can you just quickly go off record for a sec, Harold?
Yep, just hang on 2 seconds. We'll just go on pause. And we're back. Thanks for that point of order there, Russell. Much appreciated. But yeah, sorry, Damon. We had to look at a few other burnt orange cars, and you missed it. So, for those who aren't aware, that little standing joke is the fact that Damon, who watches us on YouTube, our episodes sometimes go as long as nearly 4.5 hours, and he can only stand watching us in half-hour slabs. But he has got a famously burnt orange Model X, which I'll drag that image out a little bit later on. But anyway, welcome back, Dame.
Does anyone know?
I don't know. He's MIA. A bit like some of those other people that ought to be in quarantine that aren't. But anyway, that's another story we'll talk about later. We won't mention the C word, unless it's got to do with a car. Right, moving right along. So has anyone else got any questions or comments thus far?
I've got a comment.
Go, Paul.
I realised how good our cars were when Tesla lent me a Toyota hybrid today, and I was like, "How the hell did I drive this thing?" And what the hell? It doesn't do one pedal driving. It doesn't stay in its lane keeping thing. Try to run me into the wall, and just all these other little things that we have that I've just got so used to. So I was just going. I got back to Tesla, went thank you, but oh my god.
So, are there any cars at all in the showroom? Because I thought they've sold most of them, if not all of them.
I think hence why I got a hybrid as opposed to a standard range Model 3. So, yeah.
So
there was one car around, but yeah.
Is that the white one?
I think so.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
With all the
because clearly Tesla are selling down everything. And I mean, I've looked at their website and there's just nothing available in inventory whatsoever. It's just all gone. So
it's all sold out, and it's 14 to 20 weeks for a car now. I looked today.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Didn't matter which one. It was like Model 3, that is. S and X, forget about it. Nothing under exist. Yeah, do a customer order.
I think that changed.
Oh no, that's just gone to US. We'll just go back to Australia.
Australia, mate.
Australia. We're not in New South Wales. And wow! Oh wow! Huh. So that means. So that means that Q1 is sold out.
Yep.
Wow. 14 to 20 weeks.
Yep.
That's still pretty good. Toyota's about 450 weeks, I think, between cars.
Yes.
So, I'm still waiting for a car from them, which I should getting after about 50 something weeks.
I'm just checking the logs now, and
So
20th of December when the standard range went up to that 14, 20 week range, and I think it was the 21st when the long range and performance went to that.
Wow.
yeah,
Cool.
not bad.
Wow. So demand is just going absolutely ballistic,
Yeah.
as we all thought it would.
Yeah, I would say they had a quota for the first quarter next year for Australia, which would be, I suppose, built in January, shipped in February.
Yes. Yeah. If you look at
hit that limit.
if you look at any of the Wuwa videos or the Jason Yang videos, the biggest giveaway for any Australian cars is when you see the aerial photo of that storage area, is just a preponderance of poverty pearl white cars. And then sometimes a couple of the YouTubers will actually go low enough. And if you look really careful through the windscreens, especially on the all white cars or white interior, you can actually spot like the haze of the steering wheel on the right hand side of the car. But yeah, it's, as you say, Chuck, it's always the start of the quarter when Tesla are pumping out all the cars for Australia and New Zealand and Europe for that matter. Although Elon Musk did state this quarter that he was going to get away from that because it just doesn't make sense to flog all your sales staff or your delivery staff and all your logistics chains to try and get these cars delivered in the same quarter as you made them.
Actually, as you're saying that, Harold, Paul, how long did you have to wait to get service? That's a bit of a conversation for you, my friend.
That was 3 weeks. I had.
Weren't they coming to you and yada yada?
Yeah, it was going to be a mobile service, and they actually pulled mobile service and actually just put everyone on deliveries. And yeah, so the first week was they didn't have the part. So the second week was when they actually pulled that on us, sort of stuff. So yeah, it was a bit disappointing in that regard.
That is rubbish.
But yeah, they did deliver the vehicle, so that was, I suppose, the main thing. And they did apologise and all that, and gave us a loan petrol car. So
something that's a little bit depressing for us, and I'm going to highlight this because Charles is in the room. If we look at the drive-away price for a standard range Model 3, in WA it's $66,616.
Yep.
And if we just go back and pretend for a moment that we're living in the future and go to Tassie, same car is $62,201. So there's $4,400 lazy dollars sitting on the
Is that
table.
with on-road costs?
Yes, that's drive away.
And is that with incentives as well, or no?
Yeah, that would be inclusive, I presume, of incentives.
Yeah, we have we don't have any like cash incentive. We have a stamp duty rebate.
Yep.
So that saves, I think it's about $2,500. Not sure that was there. But yeah, our stamp duties would normally be about $2,600, $2,800 on that car. Unlike Victoria and New South Wales, there's no cap on the stamp duty rebate. So whereas they get, I think they get, it varies per state. I think it's about $3,000 off if it's under 68,000 and no stamp duty if it's under 78. You just had a stamp duty, but it's no cap. So if you compare performance Model 3 between Tassie and West Australia, I think the difference will be even bigger. So
yes, so just the standard one, I'm just showing the WA one, and the stamp duty is $4,000 going straight to the lady or gentleman that stamps the rego papers. One of the most valuable commodities is stamp duty stamp ink, because every time you use a little bit of that ink, you're getting $4,000.
It's still very cheap, I think.
Oh, look, it's a great value. Carmen, can you remind us how much your car costs?
$81,200.
Which you can now get for 66. Clickety
For a
click.
standard. Bloody heck.
462.
Tesla are famously exporting deflation throughout the world, where they keep lowering the prices of their cars.
I think mine was $3,000 difference, but that was, I debundled the tires and the spoiler for $6,500.
Debundled the tires. So could you buy
Yeah.
the car without tires?
No, in terms of the performance. So as opposed to 20-inch, I got 18
Ah,
and no spoiler. So my car goes only 230 k's now as opposed to 260.
bummer. So it only does a little bit more than twice the legal speed limit in Western Australia as opposed to 2.5 times.
Exactly. So you can only do it on the track. So.
Or in NT, I think, in parts of.
Yeah, that's right.
But then I don't want to hit a I don't know, a bull or something on the Sturt Highway or whatever it is.
Buffalo, you mean?
Water
Water buffalo at 260 k's an hour.
You'd
Or a
probably
camel.
live. I think
Or a
you'd
camel.
live, though. Yeah.
Yeah, camels are the worst.
So Chuck, you're in the future. So are you going to join the future and get a Tesla Model 3 perhaps
No,
one
you stay
day?
with the Leaf. You stay with the Leaf. Don't listen to these people. The Leaf's a beautiful car,
One of us. One of us.
and
I wasn't going to mention it, but since you asked, I did put the order in on the 15th from the processor.
weak bastard.
Oh, congratulations.
Weak, I tell you.
Congratulations.
Just stay with the Leaf.
The clock is ticking, and I was lucky. Like I got in 5 days before that delivery date went out, and also had to get in before the 31st of December because my employer is a member of the corporate program.
Oh yes, yep.
That's ending as of end of this month. So I
It has too.
that biting at my heels as well, thinking, oh, should I? Shouldn't I? So
Good
Yep.
move.
put the order in, and it hopefully will be here before the end of March.
Fantastic. Congratulations. Are we going poverty pearl white by any chance?
I'm going for blue, but everything else is poverty.
Cool. Blue's okay. There's nothing wrong with blue.
Are you keeping the Leaf or?
Well, I'm not sure yet. I'm thinking of leasing the Tesla out on EV. So if that's the case, I'll still need the Leaf when it's been rented. But I'd also like to actually be able to drive the car that I bought. So I'm still deciding there.
And that might be a fluid decision depending on, well, not depending. It'll be so awesome to drive the Tesla that you'll find
Yes.
it difficult to sort of hand it over.
Give up.
So you may be redoing those numbers going, is it really worth the effort to rent it out? Which is worth the money, but is it, it'll be a struggle there, Charles.
That's right.
I think I can see you'll be fighting yourself over it.
Yeah, I was
Once
looking
you
at both.
Once you put your foot down.
Yeah, that's right. I was looking at both Uber and Evie, and I think if I go for Uber, then yeah, it takes my time, but at least I get the car when I want it and that kind of thing. So nothing worse than needing the longer range and not having your own car. So.
Yes, indeed. Speaking of range, what is your Leaf getting? Have you had a refurbished battery or are you on the original?
No, on the original. So it's a 2012 Leaf that I bought in 2016. It currently has 60% of its original capacity. So I'm lucky to get 70 or 80 kilometres out of it.
Oh,
That's on a good day down a hill.
Well, I live at top
75
of
on a good day down a hill.
I live
And
at
there's normally enough range when I get home. I can mow the front lawn. A little bit left in the battery then.
yeah. No, I can go a long way from home. I just can't get back home easily. That's
Yes, it would help if you lived in a valley, in a very deep valley,
yeah.
so that you could go anywhere and then you'd always knew you could get home.
Yeah, I know someone who is in that situation. He knows if he gets to a certain range around his house with 0, he can always get home. I'm the opposite. I know that I can go a long way, but I can't get back up the hill easily enough.
Oh dear.
That's all right. We've got a few more.
I remember
Like
Robert
you.
Llewellyn said that once about one of his trips. He went to Switzerland, went up a mountain, and he was nearly out of fuel. He was down to about 10 Ks or something. He got 40 Ks to go, and he got back with 7 Ks left or something like that. Very just because it was all downhill.
That's it. Actually, I saw a video from Robert Llewellyn this week about his old Leaf. He had a 40 kilowatt hour battery put in his old Leaf.
Yeah.
So I think he said I think allowing for the fact of the degradation that his battery has now, of his old battery, I think he said he now has triple the range of what he had before.
Yeah, he's getting about 140 to 150 miles of range.
Yeah.
Listen, they're such an amazing automobile company.
Now, you've got to
Mind-blowing.
say it like the Americans, Nissan.
Nissan, such amazing. They're incredible. Absolutely. They take my breath away. Technology-driven guys they are.
Well, at least Charles, you're now joining the future, and you've drunk the Kool-Aid, and you're slapping down the readies to join the club. So yeah, it's an awesome thing.
Star Trek.
You know,
Actually, it's a story. My Leaf originally came from Western Australia, so if anyone
Yeah, it was one of my old fleets, Charles. I've given up my fleet and come down a little bit. You should enjoy old Betsy. She was good.
I do suggest it never drove itself across the Nullarbor. Obviously, it probably just hopped a ride on the train.
I would say it did, yeah. I'm the third owner. The second owner was also in Tassie, and before that, I was told it was a Nissan corporate company car. So it was probably not driven much, and charged to 100 and left in the sun kind of thing. Who knows? But on my keyring, wherever it is, it actually still has the original tag with the WA registration number on it.
Oh, right. Wow.
You've got to love that.
So if any of you guys want to buy it and return it to its original home, let me know.
Anyone?
Yeah.
Anyone?
Yeah.
No, thank
Sorry, I don't know. There's not a lot of. No, there's just crickets. I don't hear anyone. No, no one here. There's no takers.
Maybe
Sorry.
Rob wants to buy it. Rob's there somewhere hiding in the background. Rob,
The
President.
WA government bought it. It'd be more battery capacity they got at the moment, that's for sure.
Well, if the WA government bought it, they'd have to put fast DC chargers literally everywhere. Speaking of which, how many new chargers have you got installed since we last spoke, Chuck? Because no doubt you've got another couple.
Have I found, you mean? How many?
No. How many more fast DC chargers have you installed in Tassie since we last spoke?
No more, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Is there any superchargers there?
Next time. But we do have a list of. We've got a list of, I think, 20 or so that are coming in the next 2 years, like half this year, half next year, half 2023.
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
All the arena ones, like what you're getting through Perth, and some more state government ones.
Is that when they run the cable from Melbourne, Charles, like across for the power to go for the fast charging and stuff?
No, it's just a long extension lead.
We don't need their coal power. We've got our own hydro. We're all good.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you guys actually had a second power line installed, because I think the first one was failing, and there was a backup second DC power link between you guys and Melbourne.
No, there's only one cable now, but they're planning on a second.
Oh,
actually, yeah.
Okay, right. Because there was a problem with that cable, I thought, if that's the original one.
It was, yeah. There was a 6 month. No power flowing across it, which would normally be okay, except it was at the tail end of a drought, and our dams were all really down. So
yeah, you guys had big problems with power, because hydro is awesome as long as there's lots of water.
I think there were lots of diesel generators installed, and they got all shipped over and connected and everything like that, and then the rains came, and I think they were used for about a week.
Cool. Nothing like a few white elephants out there.
That's it. Yeah. And since then, we've had two new wind farms installed. So, hydro storages are up about 50%, which is massive. So, it's all back to normal now, hopefully.
Awesome. Fantastic.
No stresses about driving the EVs anymore.
Well, look, I mean, the thing is, when your Model 3 gets to 90 kilometers range, you'll be going, oh, can we bother charging? I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
And that'll be more than your Leaf ever got on a good day. So
Yeah, that's right. It's been reading stories about people on their road trips and getting nervous when they get to what my car has when it's full. Yeah, crazy.
How many fast chargers are there in Tassie, like Tesla fast chargers? Is there any there?
Yeah, there's one supercharger in Devonport where the ferry goes to.
Oh, yep.
And then there are 4 ultra rapid chargers between there and Hobart, just like every 50, 80 Ks. And then there are about another dozen 50 kilowatts scattered around the coastal areas and the tourist routes and things like that.
Yeah, cool.
yeah, it's pretty awesome. These are just CCS and supercharger. And I mean, you just look at that, that's just awesome.
Mm.
Considering, Charles, what's the distance between, say, Launceston and Hobart?
Launceston and Hobart is about 200 kilometres.
So
That's
not
awesome.
Bunbury. Yeah, not far.
So Launceston, you can see, is just in the northeast there, just a bit inland. Yep, that's it. And it's 200.
Where do you live, Charles?
And I'm in Hobart.
Oh, you're in Hobart.
Yep, 200 k south of there. Just drive past all those 350 kilowatt chargers. No problem at all.
Do you see the boats coming in today?
No, unfortunately, I'm on the other side of the hill. No, haven't been down there today.
Would have been a good look.
Yeah, but it's funny. I actually, if you want to bring that map back up again.
Oh, yes.
I borrowed a friend's SR Plus a few months ago, and I drove to the Devonport Supercharger opening and back. And when I was there, I charged to 100%. So yep, that's the one. I'm here pointing at my screen, like you can see my finger.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so from there back to Hobart, his was one of the original SR Pluses, so 2019.
Yep.
And I got to Hobart. I got to the second last charger before Hobart with 18% left.
Is that the Shell Brighton?
That's it. Yeah, so I got there with 18%, and I've been doing some, testing on a better route planner with the 2022 Model 3, which is obviously a bit more range, and yeah, it's even better than that. So no problems getting from Devonport to Hobart in one go with plenty to spare.
Yeah, wow.
That's because of the hills, is it?
Well, it's just because of the gradual improvements in battery range since that I drove early this year and the model that I'll be getting next year. I think it's there's improvements and battery improvements.
You wait till you get paved roads, Charles, when you start getting tar roads and you make it even smoother. Sort of the dirt tracks that you have to go on over there. Change everything.
Can't believe the Western Australians who have dirt for grass are giving me crap about it. When I was in Perth a few years ago, that was the thing that was most weird to see where the nature strips are, just dirt and gravel and stuff.
Hey,
Yeah,
Brian's asking a question.
Oh, apologies, Brian.
You're muted, Brian.
I think you have any. Aha, unmuted. There you go.
Trying to figure out how to get some minor problems sorted with my newish.
Yeah, I guess I could phone them up, but you don't talk to people with modern technology. But
Yes.
Anyway, you can go through the app and book a service visit, and you say, "Hang on, I'm just concerned the boot doesn't open as far as it used to, and sometimes it won't close properly, and the trim on the doors goes creak and crackle, crunk, and the aircon is a bit of a worry of whether it's actually working properly, and those sort of things." And the guy comes along and says, "No, tough, that's the best you get," and then they charge you $50 for a visit. What's the deal?
I don't think they will do that, but but one thing for the boot, a quick fix there is I think this is right. If you've got one that's got the automatic boot lifter, so it lifts by itself, the modern Model 3, if you inadvertently do a long press of the open button on the inside of the boot, well, underneath, that's actually used to adjust your boot height. So I think, is this right, gents, ladies and gents, that if you press and hold the boot
Yeah.
button and it beeps, you can then manually lift the boot to any height that you want it to basically open to next time. So
push it open
in this,
with your hand to where
Somewhere,
you want
somewhere
it,
above there is good.
and then you hold on to it after, and then it sets it. So you can open it with your hand, it just pushes it up manually, and
Yep.
once it's where you want it, you just hold it down, and it'll set.
Aha, got it, because I'm sure it was good when I bought it. And then very shortly after I bought it, I showed my daughter the car. And the first time she got out, she smacked the door against the lock. But even before that, put something in the boot and tried to close it manually and then pulled it open again. And so that probably stuffed the adjustment a bit. So, okay, so you let it open, then you push it right up, and then just hold the button in and it beeps at you. Sounds good.
That's correct.
Is that on the manual? It wouldn't be in the manual, would it be?
Yeah. it's in
It
the
is,
manual.
Yes.
It's a manual.
It? Oh, I
Yeah,
don't-
but who reads the manual?
oh, page 226 was it? Yeah, right.
Yeah. And page 302, Brian, maybe put your daughter up for adoption.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, that's right.
Get her moved on somewhere. She's,
The paintwork's not bad actually. It doesn't chip too badly.
oh, that's good.
Only had it for 2 days.
2 days.
Oh, wow.
Oh. There you go.
What was wrong with the wing mirrors, did you say, Brian?
No, it's the boot lift. I'm sure when I first got it, I could put things in the boot, but now it smacks me on the head because it doesn't lift high enough. There's obviously more travel on it. You can push it up further, but
Yeah, there
it
is.
stops too early. Okay, so what you're telling me, you just shove it right away up, and then you hold the button down, and it will then, in future.
Hold the position.
Yeah, I thought it was some just the adjustment has slipped or something, but it
Is that the only thing that's wrong that you found so far that you're not sure about, or is there other things too that?
Oh, annoying thing is the door trim, the two rear passenger doors. The door trim goes click, 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 click all the time. It just needs a bit of lube on, but I'd rather they did it than me.
You say the passenger side?
Plastic trim is creaking.
Did you say the passenger side then, Brian, when you said that? Was that the passenger side?
Both sides.
Both sides? Oh, okay. Because one thing that I noticed early on was if someone's been sitting in the passenger seat and they get out, sometimes the seatbelt flicks 90 degrees and rattles between the seat and the door if it's just the right
Yeah,
spot.
no, it's not a rattle. It's a creaking sound. Yeah, so it's just a movement between the trim and the door.
That's a service request. Just do it on your app,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
and then they'll sort it out for you, and that'll be free.
Oh, good. Okay, so I just put it down as put in the service request, and they'll do that on their whenever it's convenient to come around the place. I don't have to go all the way to Scarborough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
so
when you do your request, it'll come up with a date, and then it'll normally show you mobile if it can be done mobile, and that sort of sounds like mobile. So then they'll do that, and if they don't do it as mobile, they might change it to mobile anyway, because Adam will contact you anyway
Okay,
before.
And Brian, where do you live? What area?
Kalamunda.
I just
Yeah,
put
you'll be
down,
right.
Brian, just put down that you live in Albany. They'll come quicker.
Oh yeah.
Put down that you're just local.
so
Has
what
anybody
you can
got,
do is you can do
anybody actually
exterior
got
trim.
any electric cars in Albany? Because I noticed I've only got one actually public charger within 100k of Albany, so it's no, it's not quite true, but there's only one charger down there. The other ones are hotels and so on. It's pretty rubbish down there.
Albany?
Yeah.
Bloodshed.
Yes, there's a Tesla destination charger at the Civic Centre.
Yep.
Which is just here, the visitor centre. Sorry.
Yep.
And that requires no cable. It's just a destination charger.
Mhm.
But that's the only one that is basically public. Oh, sorry. There's also at Orana. If you go into filters and go to type 2, if you've got a type 2 cable, the McDonald's Orana have a Type 2 EV Link dual-headed Type 2 charger.
Okay, that's just the your standard male female or extension cable for the Model 3. Yep. Got
That's
that.
correct. So you need a Type 2 cable.
Yeah, I know
which-
you've got a lot of them to sell there.
Which
but
is
I already
which
got
is
one off.
there are a couple. I've got a couple spare if you're in need. But actually, by the way, if you're as a club member, you get to borrow the Type 2 cables and other various things for free anyway for road trips. So you could certainly borrow one to suss it out.
Is it true that a Leaf owner wanted to plug them all together so they could get to their work and back? Leave it plugged in when they.
Actually, there's a very much an off-label hack that ought not to be done. So it's that classic thing of don't do this at home, kiddies. But the Type 2 cables have been deliberately constructed so that you can't actually use them as extension cables by going male, female, and onwards, unless you trim 10 millimeters off the plastic of the, I don't know whether you call it a male or a female end, the end that doesn't go into the car. And if you trim 10 millimeters off that plastic, you can then mate it to another one and cause it to be an extension cable. It's actually quite dangerous to do because apart from the fact that it means you can rupture it, like there's no latching mechanism. Actually, the most dangerous part is that if you had a string of 3 cables in a row, the center cable could be like a 16 amp rated cable, and the 2 extreme end cables could be 32 amp rated cables. You could plug it into an EVSE and a car, a charger and a car. The charger and the car both believe that they can either pull or supply 32 amps. Let's call that single phase, because this is when it could happen. And you could then end up turning the 16 amp intermediate cable incandescent or something similar. So that's why I think they call it simplicity through complexity. They have these elaborate resistors, they have elaborate plugs and connectors that aren't mutually compatible to prevent you from doing this. So yeah, definitely don't do it at home, kiddies.
On there, Harold, before you go any further.
Yes, and well, in fact, that's like I can tell you now that is something that you should not do. But yeah, you're right, Russell. Since I've gone to the effort of getting a computer to make this this warning, I'll just put it on now.
The following segment is general in nature and shouldn't be taken as personal professional advice. Listeners should seek their own independent assessment from a qualified advisor and not rely on the general nature of information in this program.
Except, of course, that I can guarantee you that you definitely should not do what I just described.
Yeah, the key thing there, of course, is that there is a moderately clever mechanical and electrical interlock system on the cables and the plugs.
Yes.
Which stops you sticking your fingers into live terminals, but it's also, as you say, it's quite smart to stop you overloading the cable. And both these are really serious problems. Obviously, the sticking your finger onto live terminals can very well be deadly in the wrong conditions. And the live cable, the underrated cable problem, yeah, you know, especially if there's a loop in the cable or something, or it's buried under something or other, if that is overloaded, it will just burst into flames and bye-bye car.
Actually, since we're talking about cables, there was a gentleman, I forget his name, I think it was Hassam or something like that. He had purchased what he thought was a good cable, and in general terms it is. He actually bought a 16 amp 3-phase Type 2 to Type 2 cable, which in almost every application is perfectly fine because a Model 3 can only draw 16 amps 3-phase. But unfortunately he lived near Harrisdale, and at that shopping centre they've actually got an EV Link Type 2 outlet, but it's only connected to single phase. So what it then is able to do is offer 32 amps single phase, but of course he has a 16 amp 3-phase adapter or cable, sorry, and it was only allowing the car to pass 16 amps single phase, which is basically half rate. So rather than getting 7.6 kilowatts, he was getting 3 point whatever, 3 kilowatts. So half rate on that cable. So so anyone who's looking at buying cables, if you want to cover yourself for everything, then definitely buy the basically what's called the 22 kilowatt rated cable. Like I said, even though your cars will only draw 11 on 3-phase, it's the fact that they can also pass 32 amps single phase that can be really useful, depending on where you are. Oh, and also in WA, providing you've bought your car in your personal name, and that name happens to be the same as the account holder of your Synergy service, just Google Synergy EV tariff. Your whole house will basically get a 30% discount approximately between 12 p.m. and 4 a.m. 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. And it doesn't matter what's connected to your house. So whether that's aircon, pool pumps, whatever. So that's virtually a no-brainer for almost everyone that's on a standard domestic tariff.
Yeah, that as you say, if you're on a standard tariff, that's it's sort of better, but it's also it's not real smart. If you're on the timed smart tariff, you get a slightly cheaper rate between 9 p.m. and 7 a.m., which is a much better deal because even I've just that cranks gone into the car between you've got whatever 9 minus 7, 10 hours. You've got 10 hours there, and the cheap rate is basically 50% of your standard rate. So that's pretty good. But of course, in summertime, this is all again if you've got solar power on your roof. Any time 9 to 4, you should have spare power, depending on how much solar you bother to buy. But certainly in the wintertime, I found the time tariff is good because things like pool pumps. They say, oh, you can run your house, but what do you run between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m.? Do you really need to run your aircon and stuff? So about pool pumps and dishwashers and washing machines, about all you can use, and they're not really big heavy users. So,
true, but this thing in the tail for that time of use tariff is that between 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. you're being charged the best part of 50 cents per kilowatt hour, and a lot of that towards the night time. Let's call it after 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. A lot of that power usage is non-discretionary.
What do you think I'm sweating at the moment? I'm sweating at the moment because obviously we don't have the aircon on until 9 p.m. So I've got another 16 minutes to go. So then we can put the aircon on.
I've got to say, Brian, that my life is too short to be uncomfortable for several hours every day. It seriously is far too short. But all power to you for doing it.
If you want to be a cheap ass, sit in your car and then charge it after midnight like me.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it. Use the car battery. That's what it's for.
Yeah. Or use the BYO plan that Synergy offer, where you just get a 20-meter extension lead, go to your next door neighbour and plug into his house, run it back to your house. That works really well for me. That's what I do. So it's
No, you just go down the pub. The aircon at the pub is fine. So I just go up the pub and 9 p.m. and get back home. It's dead right.
That's it.
Harold, Mark Stevenson's got his hand up.
Oh, sorry, Mark. Please go ahead.
I wish I could. I've forgotten what I was going to ask.
You're probably wondering, like us, Mark, why is Shane Warne in the on the gallery tonight, looking very distinguished. Shane Warne. It looks like Russell, but it could be Shane Warne, I think. So
There's a couple of minutes. I'll put my hand back up again.
He's got his cricket.
No, don't do that. Just shout out because by the time Nigel reminds me that your hand is up, because I'm not looking, you'll forget again.
No problem. Oh, there's one thing I can ask while I've got your attention. I've been looking at screen protectors. Is it worthwhile going for the matte ones above the gloss ones for the
Yes.
screen protectors?
Yes. Yes.
It works. They do work. And is there any one you particularly recommend that's a reasonable price? Because some of them are $100 odd, and some are right down at like $20 odd. Some are
When I-
plastic and some are glass.
Yeah, I got the glass one from Abstract Ocean like 2 years ago, and it was the matte one because the
Yeah.
gloss one reflects the sun right in your face.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But
And
you
how much
still
was
see
that
the
from Abstract
fingerprint.
Oceans? Because that's the
Whoa.
one that Ride the White Lightning recommends, isn't it?
Yeah, it was something like that, and I got a whole package stuff. So because I got the
Oh, right.
carbon fiber wrap pieces, and I did all that, and I did the lights and the puddle lights and stickers and things, and yeah, a whole bunch of stuff. So, and I had all that
You-
before the car
You
rocked
were
up,
just
so-
buying toys, weren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
But what does
And
the
that was
protection even do? Is it, have you had something hit it and it saved the screen or something? Like what is the purpose of the screen protector? What's it
To
protecting
protect
from?
Well,
Screen.
the reason I was
Yeah,
going
but from
for it
what?
was because so
people's
if you catch
keys.
something, especially like
or
my wife's
rings.
diamond ring can catch it as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it I did see one of the YouTubers. It ended up getting chipped, and it was like, well, that protected your screen, which is I think it's $2.5 grand or something.
Okay.
So for a $50 item, it's like with your phone, you just get a screen protector.
Oh, yeah, I've
Or-
never
or
used a
don't.
screen protector. I just assumed that the screen was going to be strong enough to handle it. But
Glass.
Good point.
But phone screens I'm okay with because I always buy a case that's got a big lip round it to protect it, but you
Yeah.
can't put a big lip round to protect the
In this
15-inch
video-
screen.
It's
So-
definitely a personal choice factor,
Yeah,
isn't it, Carmen?
Yes, absolutely, Jared.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I think the screen protector thing is a bit overrated, but then again, you might find someone like this where it could be useful.
Everything has been amping up for this moment. Super
Have you changed
crazy
screen yet?
experience. Model 3
Can't see
Tesla.
anything, Harold.
We got the hammer
No.
right there. So we're going to begin by just taking a little slow drive.
So what was that?
we only have
We
we
one
can't see
screen.
that.
Can't see anything.
Oh, sorry.
Still on gallery view.
Drive here as we're accelerating, and I'm going to show you guys.
Oh,
we're going to start
geez.
with light hits and then progress to medium, and then of course some powerful smashes. So let's go ahead and see what happens. Ready whenever you are. As you guys can see, we are driving, and we're doing some light hits right now, guys. I'm seeing the flicker of the display actually very, very slightly turn black a little bit. Progressing to really medium hits. Super medium hits. That's almost going into hard hits, and you can see there's some distortion actually. So there is distortion as we're hitting it. So just the first update, guys. Interface, screen works great, amazing. Medium hits, everything is working perfectly fine. So we could see the durability is there with that Tesla screen. So we're gonna have to progress to a little more powerful hits. Let's go ahead and do it.
Oh my goodness, we got our first cracked beam of light shining from the display right up there on the right side.
Cracked, fully cracked. Oh my goodness, hold on, let me zoom in on that. We got a little red, now we got blue. That's cool. Let's keep driving. We got glass coming in. Nice, dude. Glass almost flew in my face. You guys can see we're actually driving the car and everything is still working. It's insane. We're turning, made a
Yeah, so anyway, screen protectors.
We needed a
what you
trigger
got up to on
warning for
Christmas,
that.
Was it, Harold? That you?
Sorry, say again, Russell?
Is that what you got up to on Christmas when your Starlink didn't work?
Yeah, that's right.
No, it's when you get the new software update and it's the first time after the update and you drive out in the dark and the cruise control's gone, the aircon's gone, the driver selection's gone, and you've got this stupid thing down the bottom that allows you to pick new games and you can now play Hedgehog or something, and you really just want to have what you had before. But yeah, that's why you need that.
Was anyone standing on your grass as well, Brian, or was that fine with your front lawn?
For the front lawn, what? Sorry.
Oh, my lord.
For those that want to see a very brief part of the rest of this, have a look at what's behind your screen.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's a thick piece too. Whoa, that is crazy. That's something you just don't see every day. And look at that, it's all, there's like one wire holding it together. AC is blowing, everything's fully functional, guys. You don't need the screen to drive the Tesla Model 3. That's kind of the lesson of the day. You know, got a little manual stick shift right there with the hammer. Sick. We're gonna go ahead and park this car. We're gonna take a little break for like 30 minutes and we're...
So anyway,
Oh,
it just shows there's a lot of different people that own Teslas. Very interesting people.
Mm.
Saw the one the other day who blew his car up. 'Cause
Yeah.
he
Oh,
didn't
yes.
make
I
the new
saw
battery.
that. What
Harold
was that
showed that
about?
last week, if you remember.
It was a great video, and I must admit, a lot of Tesla fanboys were wounded. They were hurt. They really thought it was outrageous. But look, it's just a car, and it was an old one. And as they said in the video, they removed the batteries because they're valuable, the drive units, and a few other things. So really, it was just a shell.
Mark's got his hand up. I think he finally remembered.
Oh,
No,
Mark.
I didn't. I haven't put my hand up. I haven't put it back up. I haven't.
It's there.
How do you put the hand up?
I don't know.
How do you put a hand up, Harold?
I've got
Like
got
this.
something- I've got
I
something
thought
to
you
talk
just put it
about.
up. Yeah, that little hand up.
So
Go
I
down
noticed-
the bottom
Go-
to reactions.
Yeah. Oh, down there. There you go.
I noticed this week that Nigel put a video up on YouTube showing his light show in his car with the new update, which I thought was quite a good
Yeah.
because I hadn't received mine when he got his, so that was good to see.
I
before it
think
happened.
I must have been one of the first ones in the whole of Australia to get it.
Yeah.
Because mine came down, I got notification, I don't know, about 9, 10 o'clock in the morning,
Mm.
and I downloaded it, and then I went and took the picture, the video, put it up onto YouTube, and then somebody put in, oh, look, at about 10 o'clock, there is an SR Plus in Australia currently receiving it. And I go, well, that was me.
Oh, was that Christmas Day? Christmas morning?
No, it was Thursday, I think.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, because
think
I
mine
got
about-
mine Christmas morning. So
I got mine.
I was like a kid on Christmas morning. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, woohoo! Go ahead.
Yeah, I
so-
got mine at 5:15.
I got mine the night before.
Mine was a little bit later, so I managed to get the headlights so you could read Tesla on there. Your one, Nigel, because I
Yeah.
guess it was daytime, you couldn't.
I've got a 2-year-old one, so it hasn't got the Matrix headlights.
Okay,
And
sure.
my car was plugged in charging, so the charge port didn't open and close,
Yeah.
and I don't have an automatic boot. So,
Yeah.
I've got an old one.
And
So-
Yeah, like me.
mine to you, Nigel.
So,
The comment I had
so
about
of all
that
the,
was,
So,
there's actually, I'm not sure if people are aware, but the show that we get as default is the one that was on Nigel's car. But there's a website you can go to that you can
Yes.
actually do different light shows, and there's ones already pre-built. So like what I got here, like Knight Rider and Star Wars and James Bond and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
It's pretty simple to do. You pretty much
great.
just put them on USB, plug it in, and then when you start it, you select the custom one.
They won't give us a copyright strike, will they?
Probably because, believe it or not, I think it was last week we had the Biofuel Channel 7 news article, and it had what's the name, Newman with cars, and unfortunately that episode got demonetized, much to the devastation of the club, that we're not going to earn any revenue from that episode. It got demonetized.
So it's quite simple to do.
that's $1 million down.
There's a few YouTube videos of how to do it, but if you want to play around with it, and if you're that way inclined as well, you can create your own. So I went onto GitHub and started to create my own sort of customized one just for, playing around. But there is ones on there, best of ABC Talkback. The lights just all just go black and nothing really happens for about 3 hours. You can't drive your car. And
Is that the catatonic? Is that the catatonic one?
I feel like somebody's copying my shit. I feel somebody's milking it. Now,
elevating your shit, Jared.
Listen here, Shane Warne, okay? Your cricket
Actually-
shirt on, eh?
Actually, this reminds me of, speaking of that.
I tell you, sorry, Howard,
that-
those light shows and those cars are going to be really valuable this New Year's Eve, because in Perth, that's all we're going to have, light shows in cars. No other shows happening in New Year's Eve anywhere in Western Australia. Yes, pretty
This is
devastating.
true. Well, and on that note, this is what one Model 3 owner found as a glitch in his car.
Yeah, found that.
Gold.
Now, just in case,
Just, that's under entertainment. Yeah,
Gold.
Classic.
so that's what happens when you play it at a quarter speed.
Can you put the link in that, Harold?
Sorry, for this thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
yes.
the video and the audio are a bit out of sync on my end.
Yes.
Doesn't quite give the same effect.
No. Oh, Dr. Cooper's in the house. Just wake up. Just get out of bed. Did we? Get out of bed, did we? Just come home from golf, a little sleep. Eh?
No, golf's tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow, sorry.
Up at 5, yeah.
You still want me to caddy for you? I'll be there. No worries.
At 5.
Oh, yeah,
Sure.
definitely. 5,
Sure,
definitely.
Jared.
5 p.m., definitely.
Well, I mean, Charles could caddy because he's in the future. He'll know what your score is. Oh,
That's
is that
me,
you?
sorry.
Is that Russell?
No, that was me, sorry. Had beans for lunch.
Oh, God.
Beans,
And it
musical
just goes
fruit.
down. Hey, Richard Chapman, are you there? Richard Chapman? Oh, maybe he's not. Richard.
Oh, he is. He's coming back.
Coming back. Richard, you got questions?
Literally just about doing my teeth, Jared. What do you want?
Oh, because I knew you were doing your teeth, so I thought I'd just check in with you. Just to make sure
thanks,
they're all
mate.
good.
So kind.
You're back up at work?
Oh, back up in paradise.
Paradise. What's the temperature today? 400.
Oh, it's pretty mild.
Pretty mild?
40, 41.
41. Cool.
Harold, while I'm actually talking, I haven't been able to see any of the videos that you've been sharing. It's just had like the spinny little loading wheel. I don't know if anyone else has had that, or if it's just my iPad.
It's just Harold doing it on purpose.
Just you, buddy.
Piss everyone off, but basically. There you go. He's doing that one. That's good. Harold's going, yeah. Just Harold being, doing the dodge.
So do we have an update on when we all think that the Model Y reservations are going to get opened for ordering?
Yeah, 2032 apparently.
And 4 months.
Jared, no, 2 weeks. Come on.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. Definitely.
always 2 weeks.
How long do you think all that'll take?
Yeah.
Really? That's all.
Any idea when you're going to be finished here?
2 weeks.
How long will it take to put this place together?
2 weeks. I do get the permits. How long will the job take? 2 weeks. 2 weeks? 2 weeks? You sound like a parakeet there. 2 weeks? 2 weeks? Well, 2 weeks. It's amazing. Amazing nothing. It'll be a regular miracle.
And of course, if that's not enough, there's always a bit of this.
As a Tesla owner, my self-identity is wrapped up in my car.
I love this.
And I can confidently tell you that the best way to care for the environment is to drive a $110,000 electric car because it has 0 emissions. And I want you to know from the bottom of my Tesla-owning heart to you, if you don't drive a Tesla, then you're selfish and clearly hate the environment.
That's so gold.
Oh, he's great.
He's cool, isn't he?
Yeah, about 4 months.
Fabio?
I'm going to go
4
with
months.
I'm going to go with exactly two months that the Model Y was released in the States.
When the configurator is open. 4
Yeah.
months.
Richard, to answer that question, the honest truth is the Model Y will be at least a couple more months because they've sunk about $15 billion into research and development for the lights that are on the cars, the car light shows. So all the research talent went to that area. Now they're coming back, and then they'll do some work on the Model Y. So that's a bit of a
And
hold up. Why? So.
Have you heard?
Yeah, makes
there
sense.
was a bit of news came out that the Model 3s and Ys coming out of America have now got the new AMD Ryzen chip in them.
And
Oh,
the
coming out
lithium
of America.
and the lithium
ion
battery,
battery, yes.
the 12 volt.
Yeah, the lithium. Yeah, and the
Oh,
bulletproof glass. Or is that just a Cybertruck? Not you need bulletproof
Yeah, look,
glass.
the Cybertruck's bulletproof glass is
Yeah,
great,
correct.
except it doesn't stop large bits of metal being thrown at it.
It will have to now, though.
When's the semi trailer coming out? Does anyone know about that one?
They've started.
It started. Is it Pepsi or
Yeah,
something?
but it's slow. Like Pepsi's got a few little ones, and it's just like 5 a week sort of stuff.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, that'll be. Oh, actually, in the next couple of days they'll start showing it. So,
That'd be good.
but yeah, it's going to be a slow ramp up for that.
My big dream is to see Carmen driving one of those trucks.
Yeah, the Cybertruck, I like it.
No, not the Cyber, the big semi. The
The
big.
semi.
Oh,
I can see
No.
Carmen doing a few deliveries.
Both.
Woolworths with the big semi.
not my
It'd be good.
style. I haven't
Oh,
got
you'd
any
love it.
horses or anything.
Actually, that'd be a good side business for Tesla, is to upgrade all our old Model 3s and stuff to the latest stuff.
Yeah.
Like all the little things.
Don't think they're that interested in doing that, are they?
No, but they'd make a lot of money.
Maybe.
Trivial to
Yeah,
them.
I want the speaker so I can scream at kids. That'd be great.
Then buy our latest model.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how they make the money.
Mm,
Yep.
exactly. So Paul, tell us about what happened with your service today.
It was good. No, they did a great job.
Oh,
They,
it sounds like bullshit. I can smell bullshit. I
No,
can smell bullshit. Sounds like bullshit.
Adam and James and Taylor and all
Oh.
those boys do a great job. Ben as well.
That's-
No,
sounds like-
they're good. They're good boys actually. So, no, they do their best. They know I'm not one to complain too much. Probably why I got the hybrid car as opposed to the Model 3.
I'm surprised they didn't give you a bus pass. Yeah.
How long did it take them to add the wiper fluid, mate?
No, I had an autopilot camera replaced. I've got a new front seat belt. And what else? Oh, and I got a couple
Is
of
that under
tires
warranty?
changed. Yeah, that was all under warranty, so that was free. And I got a couple of tires changed, which I already had the tires, so that was $129 fitted for the 2 tires. So it was pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
And for 2 new tires, it was going to cost me $930. So I was actually like, that was pretty reasonable as well. So for the tires that we have.
With the service, I think the ratio is something like it's at least one technician per couple of hundred cars. So if they're delivering, over 400 cars a quarter, they need to be putting on at least a couple of extra technicians basically every 3 months.
Yeah, exactly.
They
There
should
are-
be able to do that, Harold. There shouldn't be a problem because they've cut down on the delivery service side of things. So not having to have anyone to greet you when you get your car, let's cut down that. They can just put more service people on.
They're going to have to look for new premises that are bigger.
They've got one. You know, the delivery center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
25.
And they're going to have to look for another one.
Oh, they can expand that if they want. So I think they probably will have to, and put on a few more teenagers to deliver the cars. So.
They don't know what they're doing. You're gonna struggle with
Exactly.
that.
Like, can you imagine like having a few Cybertrucks in there for work? Because like,
I missed that, Richard. What did you say? What happened? Hello,
Hello, Richard.
You've lost sound, Richard.
Richard. We heard you lost you, Richard. Couldn't hear you. Richard, is that Gina behind you? I can't see the. Is that Gina there behind you? Like, she's pulled the plug on you. She said, "No more internet for you, Richard. I'm saving money."
I'm poor.
Yeah,
She's got more money than the banks, all the
He
banks.
needs to save money for my battery electric loco next year.
Well, yeah. Hey, she got
Yeah,
back
is
to
that-
me on that, Richard. The battery logo. It's going to be SR pluses. All towing along. It's just
No, is that HO scale, Richard?
No, 00 scale. Really small.
Yeah, they're testing it at the moment. It's going around his Christmas tree at home.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Deary
What was I even
me.
rambling about? Yeah, no, Government Road, where they used to service cars around the back of McCarthy Prestige. That just got crazy, and I just wonder whether it's just going to happen again, just on a bigger scale. But hey, it's a nice problem to have.
Yeah, well, if you're doing 400 cars a quarter, it's just gonna. You just need more superchargers. You need more technicians. You need more salespeople. You need more support people. And we haven't even got Model Y yet. You know, just imagine when Model Ys come out. It'll be 1,000 cars a quarter.
That Model Y, we've talked about it. We just can't justify getting a second car. We just can't. That's just we just can't justify it. But I can't justify selling the S to get the Y. It's just too good. And the feature.
I wouldn't do it. Keep the S.
Keep the S and get a Y.
But
the
thing
annoying
is,
thing is that, sorry, go on.
go, Richard. No, you go.
No, I was just going to say that the only frustrating thing is that I would like to tow a sort of small caravan for going camping, but of course, whereas the Model 3 actually has a tow rating, even though it didn't come with a tow bar, the Model S never did, even though it's the same chassis as the X. So that's just an annoyance. But
What's the rating for the Model Y? What's the tow rating for the Model Y?
I think it's 15. Yeah,
1,600 kilos.
Without any braking.
No, that would include trailer brakes.
That's braked.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but it's 1,600 kilos.
So the answer is really simple. I always say that my best car is my next car. So you just need to quit the S and slide into a Y.
Or just
It's
go
as easy as
straight to a Model S Plaid. And just cut.
Yeah,
cut
if
it
I've got
out.
200 grand, which I don't.
Yeah, it's 240. You get an extra 10 seconds on the delivery with that Model Plaid. They spend an extra 10 seconds when they deliver it.
What a bar.
It's the premium package service, they call it. It's pretty good.
I'd love the X, but it's just so expensive.
Now that Christmas tree
Um,
light's amazing. Model X, that's impressive. That's showing. That's pretty good.
I think realistically we'll probably just wait until Cybertruck.
Correct.
I'm having a Cybertruck day.
Correct. Absolutely. Can't wait myself.
And then just go and then just do what you always say, Jared. Go if we can afford it, go for the highest possible thing.
My policy is cry once and cry hard and just continue crying. But
I
find
tell
the
so
best.
many people. I tell
Find
so
the
many
best.
people about that now.
Yep. Find the best. And if it comes with 2 USB ports, optional extra for a third, get the third USB port. Whatever extra it comes with, get all the extras. And then, then just cry, just keep crying. After you've researched, and then cry. Just keep crying for about 3 months, and then you'll get over it. But then you'll realise that you bought the best product, and
exactly,
and, then you know that you've done the right thing. You know what I mean? So
like leverage your debt. So
that's it. Right.
Enjoy life.
100% enjoy life. Yeah, definitely. 100% enjoy life.
Yep.
But yeah, find the best and just get the best.
Now that it's a four motor.
To be honest, I always thought the tri-motor was just a bit weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it works on the Model S Plaid, but I don't know, just for because they obviously looked at Rivian and just went, oh well, that makes a lot more sense. Then let's do that.
Is that the old one, Harold? Is missing the bars not up the top anymore?
Yeah, it's the old one.
Yeah.
So the old one has got the light bar.
Yeah.
Oops, if we can get it. Yeah, so that bar there is now missing. And also notice how this is completely flat and the new one is now curved. So that is the old video.
Yeah. Makes no difference to me. It still tows 7.5 ton, and who cares? It's going to be the next best thing, definitely. I can't wait myself. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Especially like with the back, how it drops.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really good. Like taking wheelbarrows up there with mulch and stuff. So it's going to be really good.
Well, I reckon it's going to allow you to pretty much to pretty much collapse the suspension so low it'll almost sit on the floor.
It's going to be interesting. I reckon a lot of older people will buy it when they retire, like Richard Cooper, right? He's going to buy that, and he's going to get a caravan. He's going to drive around Australia.
Yeah, why not?
Excellent.
I mean, that's instead of buying a Sahara, he's going to get that. That's his next step. I can see it. It spells it right out. Golf clubs on the side. It's one hell of a machine. Yep, it's exciting times. Very exciting times.
Oh, I've gone from a 2-seater Lotus to a 5-seater Model 3 to a 6-seater Cybertruck. What's next? Semi.
The Semi.
Yeah, we'll talk
your
about
home on
that.
the back.
You got to get some extra work, Richard, to pay for those golf lessons. Got this little nighttime gig driving a Semi for Woolworths.
Hey, you got your tiny home on the back. So.
Tesla semi tow competition with a Cybertruck. Now that would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Oh, no, non-content. One's got 6 motors, one's got 4.
Yeah, maybe.
What's the range on the Cybertruck, Harold?
800 Ks for what was called the tri-motor. That was 800 Ks.
That's right.
Well, unless Musk says no, you don't need more than 400. Which
I
think
think
they're going to.
No, they'll need to because, for instance, on my Model X, if I just drive it normally, doing 100 Ks an hour, I get say 180 watt hours per kilometre.
Yeah,
when I tow 2.2 tons, which I did of John Edwards's biofuel diesel generator setup, I was getting 550 watt hours per kilometre. So it's a huge difference. So you're going to need that 800k range because when you're towing, it's going to be more like 300 Ks.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I think that they'll definitely bring a long range version.
I'm hoping that they won't artificially limit it like they're doing now with the S and the X, like, you know, and saying, right, your 400 miles is your maximum. I'm hoping that they'll just go as, you know, whatever it ends up being, it ends up being.
Yeah, you're right, because the new S and the X, they have actually taken cells out, so it's actually got a lesser capacity than the older models, although it's more efficient.
I think they're missing a trick there. There's definitely people that would pay for the extra. You know, if it was another 10, 20 grand, you know, yeah, it's just-
100%.
But that's because we live in the third world in Tesla land. If you're in the US or Europe,
Yep.
there are superchargers everywhere. So
That's right. And you get
It's
a
saying
handgun.
like-
You get a handgun with every Cybertruck in US.
Or if you live in
No, only in
Tasmania,
Texas.
you're all right.
No, Tasmania's different. That's
well, a Cybertruck in Tassie, you could do a whole lap and be done. You just go from Devonport to Devonport, and you
Yep.
just do one lap in 800 k's.
exactly.
No, I'd love to. I did the Western Explorer in Tassie in my 4x4 like 10 years ago. I would love to do that in a Cybertruck. Do that trip again. That would be amazing.
That'd be good.
All right, I'm going to do it.
Well, Richard, we can do it in convoy, mate. We'll get the ferry in convoy, and
Yeah. I've always wanted to go over on that boat, that Spirit of Australia, whatever it's called.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wonder
Takes
what-
12 hours or so.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do that. That's interesting.
That'd be cool.
That's good.
What's that like, Charles? Have you been on the ferry?
So I'm trying to think which ferries are active now. Last time I went on one of the current ferries was 15 years ago, maybe. But I've been on each of the ferries once. So I've done it 3 times pretty much in my life, and they replaced the ferry between each of my trips.
Oh wow!
Oh, is that because you wrecked it? Is that because you had a party and you wrecked the ferry, so to get another one?
That was it. Yeah, no,
So
it's just,
I must have. Sorry, go on.
that's it. Yeah, so they refreshed the ferries about 4 years ago. That was all internal stuff like making the lounge and stuff nice looking and that kind of thing. But they're actually replacing the ferries in a couple of years as well. So they're rebuilding.
With electric ones, of course.
Not electric yet, but the CEO of TT Line owns a Model 3.
Really?
Oh,
that's great. Okay.
There you go. And apparently, Charles, he's got electric toaster.
I wouldn't go that far. The supercharger in Devonport is at the TT Line terminal itself.
Sick.
So it's on their land. So yeah, there's self-interested in there as well.
Yeah.
So can you charge your car overnight, Charles, or is that not allowed?
You can't on the current ferries. I think it's a technical thing more than not being allowed. But the plan is to have it on the new ferries they're building. But
Cool.
Cool.
the other thing is, would you want to, because you're running off a diesel generator whenever you're on the ferry?
Yeah,
So-
true.
Unless they're going to have a battery system or something, but haven't done anything.
Don't they use the log burning charges in Tasmania? So
Ouch.
Shane Warne, stop
I
it.
missed that one. I think I'm glad.
He's on fire tonight, I tell you, Russell. Coming out batting tonight. Poor Charles.
No, come on, Russell. Otherwise, Charles will have a go at us sand gropers for being secessionists and whatever.
Yeah.
Been 3 hours and 20 years.
Oh God, not this again.
Because in our constitution, Western Australia is only included as if we join. Like it was quite doubtful. They mentioned all the other
We wouldn't
states and New Zealand, and then it said, and if Western Australia joins.
Yeah, right.
Brilliant.
Has something to do with the RAC, Carmen?
Well, that was only
Probably.
because of the Victorian bloody gold rush people coming over here, and they voted.
I think it was the RAC.
Or we would
Carmen.
never have joined.
Yeah, right.
What do you think, Carmen?
Well, I think our Premier is very friendly with RAC. And they keep giving
Perth
information.
Racing. You say
about the
Perth
electric
Racing
car.
he's friendly with? Huh? Sorry, Carmen?
Well, I think they keep spreading information about the electric highway, which is not happening.
In the
Well, the
electric
tender,
walkway.
the tender is up on the 14th of January from memory. So there's
Like all
obviously
government tenders, I guess it's a process they've got to go through, and
Yep.
there's a section that involves taking people out for lunch and Sheldon.
Those days are done.
Yeah, no, they're all-
those days are still alive, my friend. Let
Oh,
me
well,
tell you
local,
right now.
local government then. Yeah,
Let me
that's
tell
done.
you right. Let me tell you right now. They're still
That's done.
well alive. Well,
They're done for the
Oh,
tender
mate.
people.
yeah, of course.
Yeah. Us guys that do tenders and grants, we don't get shit. So
Yeah,
it's the people that say we're not corrupt are the ones that get
Yes,
everything.
yes, that's it. That's right.
Not that I
But-
said that.
Not that RAC is Carmen's favourite choice. She loves.
Yeah, no, well, I saw it in writing that they advertised the electric highway. When I bought my car, they said, we have an electric highway.
It did. It was crap. But
Didn't work.
When you say electric highway, Carmen, I think they meant like electric road. Like there's just a little bit of road that's electric. It was like,
No.
It was electric driveway. No, it was electric driveway.
Yeah, powered by solar light from Bunnings.
Well, the thing is, the problem was that it was actually one of the world's first highways, electric highways, and it was configured to be suited for the first generation electric cars that had very short range. So the intervals are really close. And it just wasn't used because as soon as Teslas came in, you just drive past 3 of the stalls and, 3 towns and you'd never use it. So it was underutilized, unloved. And, it was just a bit too far ahead of its time. That's the problem.
Unless there was more Nissan Leafs. If there was more Nissan
Well, there
Leafs.
were,
then-
but then the Leafs couldn't even make it. Well, they could make it, but it was hard going for them because their battery management was so appalling. It's just
it had some issues, but now it's rebranded. It's under the Still range. So it's
that's because it stands still. That's because you just park it and leave it and it stands still.
It does the blower. It does the grinder. It's got the whole Still range that you can just snap off the battery. It's amazing now. It's all technology. It's getting.
But we can only say that in front of Charles because we know he's joined the Tesla.
He's going to offload his Leaf as quickly as he can, aren't you, Charles? He's going to get rid of that. That Leaf is going to be like leaves on his front lawn, just blow them away. He'll have his Tesla there. He's changed his life. I love it.
The Leaf will be in high demand, I can tell. I can tell you
High,
what.
high demand, exactly. You're gonna get that Leaf going. Now, once you drive that Tesla, my friend, you'll love it. It changes your world.
Yeah.
Not many times I talk about Jesus, but
Do you guys have a delivery center in Tassie? I mean, you haven't got a service center yet, have you?
No, we're getting a mobile service technician based here.
Mobile service.
Yeah, okay.
He's just been, I think that's going through recruitment at the moment. The job was on the Tesla side a few months back. And as far as deliveries go, we all get them delivered to our house on the back of a flatbed.
Oh, yes. We had that process in Perth. Yeah, that was awesome. That's an awesome process. Where the bloke in the blue singlet takes the car off. If you complain there's a scratch on the left-hand side, he'll go on the right-hand side and scratch that and go, well, look, they're now even. And basically...
They took a long time to find that bloke that could drive that tilt trade, Harold. It's not easy finding a guy's missing about 7 teeth out there. They can drive a truck. It's not that easy. It's skillful people, those guys.
Well, in Tassie, it won't be so hard because they could just go to Melbourne and recruit some Collingwood supporters. But
It reminds me of a dental joke.
here we go. Here's the
How can you
doctor's.
tell a Collingwood supporter? How do we know a Collingwood supporter didn't invent the toothbrush? Hang on. How do we know that a Collingwood supporter,
as he plays golf, he's a really good golfer,
invented the toothbrush? Because if anyone else invented it, it'd be called the teeth brush. Wah, wah, wah.
I wouldn't go on the stage
Sorry, I
as a
ruined it.
comedian.
Richard, one of the best engineers in the world. You come up with that. Jeez.
That's good, wasn't it? Probably a Christmas joke.
Man, I ran out of scotch.
Was that in one of those?
I'm not surprised, Paul. You've
Was
been
that-
taking it, mate.
Was that one of those?
Harold,
crazy-
can you bookmark that on the timeline of the YouTube video so there's a special spot just for that joke? You know how
Yeah, we're gonna have that framed. Yeah, that joke's gonna be framed next to his dancing studio apartment.
Okay, so it's 9:24. That's I don't know what that even
Now,
means.
Only came 20 minutes and
have
I've
you
ruined it.
updated us on Elon Musk's offloading another billion?
Oh,
Yeah.
actually, so
He's finished.
so that's something I meant to actually talk about was. So in the news we had that he's basically completed the sale. So he sold 15.7 million shares and he acquired 22.8 million shares. Out of that, he got a cool $16.3 billion of net assets of cash. But the American tax man is going to invite him to spend 13.8 billion of that in tax. And then he'll end up with a cool 2.5 billion in hard cash. But
I'll let
then
you
I think
try.
No, actually, I think Harold, I've got an update from Elon Musk. He said something about that he's not contactable for the next 3 weeks because he's in Mexico with a guy named Pablo, and they're hanging out down there together, just doing some work with some drywall or something like that. I'm not quite sure what that means, but yeah. So he's not going to be contacted for the next 3 weeks. So for any comments on his share trading
Right.
portfolio, so he's enjoying life, shall we say?
So as far as the share price, we're pre-market.
It's 1088.47.
No,
Yes,
pre-market.
but pre-market is 1,096, about 1,097.
It's
So
on
it's
its
up a
way
little
back
bit.
up. It's on its way back.
But yeah, so basically that's right. I was showing this other thing too. So this was Tesla's 2012 Performance Award. So like I said before, Elon Musk had taken the company. His in the company annual reports, he was slated as earning $33,000 salary, but he never cashed the checks. So he'd be handed a check for $33,000 every year, and he just wouldn't cash it. So all of his performance was on these discounted share options. But he took the company back in 2012, where its market cap was $3.2 billion, up to 2017, where it was $52 billion.
Apparently, he did have a $20,000 lunch bill at the Jiffy food truck that he had to pay every year. Yeah.
Yes, the Jiffy food truck, the up truck.
He's got to eat, you know what I mean? Can't live on $33,000 alone.
So what he was doing was actually just living on debt. So he would just get loans against his share price or his shareholdings, which is sort of technically stressful, I guess, because in one sense he owes money that he doesn't really have, although he's got lots of shares. But I think that the word is now that there's talk of him putting some of that $2.5 billion into the what was it called? The something university, Texas Institute of Technology and Science, I think it was, which has got the great acronym of TITS, I think that he's also got about $500 million of debt that he's going to pay off with that $2.5 billion after the 13 point whatever billion he's going to pay in tax.
That debt to Harvey Norman, or?
Yeah, well, big plasma TVs are expensive, so he's probably got some big screens. I mean, I think the biggest problem is he's got to somehow work out how to return that Roadster that's on lease, and it's somewhere between Earth and Mars, and that's going to cost a lot of money to give it back to the repo people. So I don't know how he's going to sort that out. But yeah, so poor old Elon's got a lot going on. Look, the good news is that he's actually increased his shareholding, so he has more, even though he sold 15 million shares. whatever that number was, 15.7 million. He's actually bought 22.8, so he's actually got more shares now than he had before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not as if he's trying to get out of the company. It's just that and these shares that he's bought, the 22.8 million, it's only from the 2012 performance award. So obviously what's going to happen in the future is there's the 2017 or 2018 performance award.
I'll just put the link in the chat for you, Harold, for the 2018.
Awesome. Thanks, Russell. Is that the second one or the first
Second
one?
Yeah.
Second one. Is this the... Oh, yeah. Awesome. So I'm going to go straight to that. And this is where he basically gets approximately an extra 10% of the company. So each tranche is actually it's going to be 12%. Each tranche is 1% of the outstanding shares from 2018. And there are 12 tranches. And the thing is, when we looked back at this in 2018, the share price pre-split was about $300. So post-split, it's a fifth of that. So the share price in today's money was $60. And when we looked at this, we laughed and went, well, that's just a pipe dream to be able to take the company from a $59 billion market cap to $650 billion was just laughable. It was beyond any of our dreams that could happen as a shareholder. And yet, they've almost doubled that. They're $1 trillion.
What did Tim Cook pay himself for 10 years at Apple? What was that? 750 billion or million, was it?
Probably, it must have been million. It wouldn't be billion. Well, I mean, the great thing about, I did actually have a...
You got a 10-year bonus?
Yes. I did have a great... There was a filing in one of the annual reports, and it stressed the fact that...
Because he's on 280 million a year.
Oh, who is it?
Tim Cook.
Yeah. See, the great thing about Tesla's... Oh, here we go. It's 100% pay for performance structure with a 10-year term. This is the 2018 one. No salary, no cash bonus, and no time-based equity. So this was... If Tesla didn't perform the way that Elon Musk promised it would under his stewardship, he would get zero, literally nothing. And the only reason why he's got hundreds of billions of dollars is because he took Tesla in 2018 from being worth $59 billion, and he had to get it to be worth $650 billion, which in 2018 was just a pipe dream. Because,
and it's, oh, sorry.
Go on.
No, I was just saying it's also not just the revenue, but it's also the EBIT as well.
Yes.
So it's got to perform on both for it to actually activate.
Yeah.
So that's
right.
Even better. So as Tesla shareholders, we just should have bought as many as you could afford because he's doing anything he can to get it. Not that you should listen to me because I've been drinking scotch and I have been buying.
And you're buying the wheel. And you're buying the wheel. It's getting a bit crazy. You've got some Pink Floyd on in the background.
Tool.
And Harold's on the drink as well. Shouldn't listen.
Bit of Tool, bit of Foo Fighters.
I mean, it does say
for those watching at home, this is Lagira, and that's low strength. So just for the kiddies at home.
You can have 45 of those and only be a little bit over the limit.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm drinking Ardbeg, but a special one. So, and that's, a little bit more than that.
Cry once and cry hard, or?
Yes. You only live once. Just enjoy the best scotch you can.
It says on that sheet just a minute ago you showed, Harold, no wages, no cash.
Yep.
no salary, no cash bonus, no time-based equity, right?
Yep.
It doesn't mention that he gets VIP into the lunchroom and never has to pay for coffee. So it doesn't mention any of that sort of shit, though. You know, hey.
And he gets a free bed on the floor.
And free charging. He probably gets free charging, and he probably takes a car home every night.
Well, actually, he has famously had to pay for all the cars. Like he
Oh,
actually,
okay.
I don't know about now, but the original cars he actually paid for and got no discount. He had to pay full fare.
Everyone does, because it's that thing of whoever gives a full check for the first car on the board, whatever gets the first car. So Elon doesn't have all the first cars because some other people went,
No.
oh, here's a check for the next car. So yeah.
Yeah,
That's exactly right.
He doesn't work for the city council though, Paul. I'm pretty sure if he wants that first car, I'm pretty sure he'd be going, hey, that one's going that way. That turns left now. I'm pretty sure of that one. It's Elon.
God.
He can have whatever he wants. Whatever he wants. It's a small island. He wants to take Tasmania. He can have Tasmania. We'll give him Tasmania.
Well, Charles is gone, so that's okay. He's a man of the future, and for him it was oh wow, it was 12:30.
Whoa.
So because he is well ahead, because he's saving daylight, because I don't know, the sun's going to run out or something. It's this thing.
Hope they
But-
get protection on their curtains. They fade pretty quickly with that daylight saving stuff.
Let's start that crap.
Actually, since we're going to go down that little rabbit hole, we might just go and pause for a second so we can have like a little rant off.
Yeah, I want to say something.
Offline.
Yeah. Hang on, we'll resume service
Jared,
shortly.
you're such a wilting self. Bye, Mark.
All right,
Have
see you, Mark.
fun.
Have a good night. And welcome back, Damon, Ashley, and others. Joseph, we've had a big, long discussion about the C word, which we've taken off grid, so that's all good. But looping back to other things that are on the grid. So, Russell, you're saying 6G has
Yeah.
got what to the performance?
A lowercase b, is that a bit or a byte?
Lowercase b is a bit, so it's bit per second. That's the
So
traditional.
1 terabit second.
So the thing with a terabit, like in the old days, you could never communicate something on a radio wave. You couldn't do more bits per second on a radio wave than the actual frequency of that radio wave. That was the old-fashioned axiom that if you had something running at a kilohertz, the most you could do is 1 kilobit per kilohertz sort of thing. So to get 1 terabit per second, I mean, we don't have terahertz waves. Well, you do at airports with the terahertz scanner, but that's
telecoms engineer here. Anyone need any help?
Well,
beyond-
I mean,
beyond your
I know you've got
question,
you've got quadrature encoding and all that sort of stuff, but it used to be impossible to encode anything more than the frequency that you're encoding it on. Anything faster, bit rate faster, and yet they've been doing it for years now.
The connection to PHP back in 2012 for that Railcoms network could potentially be upgradable to 3.2 terabit. They're using about 40 megabit.
So
actually, that's not quite true. But 40 gigabit, but yeah. There's some amazing stuff out there. But yeah, that 6G stuff would be fantastic if it can work over a greater distance.
Yeah, and clearly that's what they're going to do. I mean, everything in the laboratory is small scale. GPS used to be horrendously difficult to receive properly, whereas now, phones like this, it works perfectly well indoors and in aeroplanes for that matter. You can just have if you got a window seat, you could just not poke your phone out the window, obviously, but near the window, and you could get the speed and the position of your plane, easy peasy. and that was that was thought of as literally impossible, 25 years ago. A bit like, Starlink, you've got to have idiots that strap dishes to the back of cars just because they can to try and get, 200 megabits down the freeway.
But you're famed now, though.
But in 5 years' time, perhaps phones can get a few megabits per second, which is all you need on a phone.
Yep.
Imagine that.
Well, the thing I'm
all you need
thinking of is like Wi-Fi implants into your body.
Yeah.
Well, we've already got the pre-Wi-Fi. We've got the lo-fi. We have a couple more doses, and we could have the hi-fi and then Wi-Fi.
No, because then you could have wireless communication devices for medical. So if your heart's bad or whatever, it could transmit live to your doctor or whatever through an implant of that speed. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, absolutely. And I mean, things like smartwatches, they're monitoring blood oxygen levels. So if you've got sleep apnea, it can monitor that. It's got you can do one wire ECGs. You've got insulin pumps and stuff like that. Implantables and whatever.
Yeah.
So it's all happening.
Actually, I used to do a lot of exercise. I'm not sure, but anyway, I used to do a lot of testing and stuff with universities and things. And
was that for the roids? Was that to keep the roid rage down or something?
Oh yeah, one of the side effects is your balls get smaller. Mine was just so huge. They're like, I could do something about it, so they put you on steroids. Yeah. It was for cycling, and they were doing a lot of testing. Anyway, part of the testing was heat stress, and I went in essentially a sauna with high humidity and cycled for stupid amounts of time. And to measure my core temperature, I had to swallow a tablet, which was a thermometer.
Yep.
And they go behind you and they put a device on your back and they can read the temperature. So those sorts of things, but not near field anymore, like a transmittable one around the place is probably.
Well, actually, that transmitter, that's actually it'd be a 125 kilohertz. It's the same as proximity readers. In fact, it's the same as what you use for your access cards for your Model 3s, those credit card cards.
It was a bit harder than...
Yeah, that's right. But that they work in either 125 kilohertz, which is easy to go through your body, or 13.5 megahertz, which is a bit harder, but can be done. But the other thing you can do is they've had a proof of concept of having phased arrays in a room where you can inductively charge your phones in every part of that room, just using phased arrays to direct the energy to the pickup coils in the back of your phones.
Very nice.
So it's getting there, Russell. Like, you can have communications, you can have power transfer, data transfer, just using phased arrays. A little bit like the Starlink dish and other things.
Good segue.
Yeah, of course. Says the man who this signal is coming to everyone else via Starlink. Literally. And working fairly well. Oh, which, by the way, I did take the dish for a spin in the car, and I got about up to. I only got 25 k's away from my place going north, which was a little bit disappointing, but it might just be the way the geometry works. It might work further south from you than north of you or something. But I'll very quick.
Back on the 6G thing just briefly. Sorry
Yes.
to harp on about it, but one of the original reasons, maybe a few years ago when this sort of first started getting spoken about, they were talking about one of the uses as being automation of vehicles. But the way Tesla works is you don't need that connection. So potentially those sort of use cases now are limited to people who don't want to, I guess the other path of controlling it differently and not using the AI side of it.
Yeah, I mean, something I thought was really, I would have thought would be a useful crutch would be you do your best to have the car do its best to just be autonomous completely, but there's always that 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 10,000 edge case where why don't you just, you could almost have like a call center equivalent of you have a bunch of humans with screens or 3D goggles or whatever, that if the car just says, oh, look, it's just too hard because you're in a blizzard or you're in a sandstorm or a rain shower or something, where if you've got good enough communications, you can just have live video going to a third party somewhere else and they can just take over to drive the car briefly. And it might only be for a few seconds. So I think, Russell, you're onto something where, you know, like for instance, people catch Ubers or taxis and have the driver right next to them. Well, the other alternative is if you can just have telepresence, then someone can drive your car on your behalf from somewhere else.
If you've got the next model of Tesla that comes out without a steering wheel and without pedals, and you're in a situation where you need to control it, then you have your phone or whatever, and you can drive it from sliding your finger around to get to your driveway or to shift it slightly.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's right. And you could literally just be sitting there and because you've got inertial stuff, you could use your thing just as a conventional steering wheel, you know, your phone. And you could sort of like have gestures where you move forward to go faster and pull back to go slower or something. But you could also have it like you've got Dojo happening where maybe the cars might phone home if it just gets a little bit too hard and there's sufficient communications, where Dojo could drive the car because it's got 1,000 times the processing ability or 1,000,000 times the processing ability of your car to get through a certain situation, maybe. But one great thing that, you know, Andre Karpathy always says about Tesla's method of autopilot or full self-driving is every time it goes to an intersection, it's gone to the intersection for the very first time. So it has to work out every aspect of that intersection from first principles because there's no digital map. There's no prior knowledge to where it's going to or where it is, which is sort of a bit like the way humans can operate. You know, we can just go down some random dirt road and work out what's going on, or you know. Or if anyone's just driven in the snow, I mean, that's pretty hard because, you know, sometimes all you see is fluoro orange plastic sticks like conduit hanging out the ground, out of the snow, because, you know, either side of you there's 2.5 meters of snow and no lane markings or anything. Yeah, it's pretty hard to do, but humans sort of work it out. So yeah, but obviously as we get more ubiquitously connected, maybe you can have that combination of super intelligent AI in the car combined with an external sort of phone a friend almost.
Yeah, and I would assume that they would operate on like a terahertz wave system, which wouldn't be clogged up by other devices as well. So it'd be.
No, see, the problem with anything that the higher the frequency, the harder it is to get through. Oh, yeah, well, terahertz waves are hard anyway. There's not many things that do terahertz waves. There is that scan, you know, that body scanner that uses terahertz waves to go through clothing, but it doesn't go through body tissue, but it can detect knives and stuff like that under clothing because it's in that. Okay. It's that far infrared zone. It's, you know, I'm not sure what the frequency of light is. I know it's in nanometers, as in wavelength, but terahertz is, yeah, it's deep infrared, you know, as far as you can go virtually. But no, it's cool that, you know, every now and then you read things that scientists are doing, and in a few years' time, it'll be in everyone's phone. So you know, as much as we got 5G now, that 6G will be around the corner, and then there'll be 7G. But anyway, has anyone got anything else to any other comments or questions or whatever? I know Damo's on night shift, so he's just listening to us, trying hard not to fall asleep because he's on the job, doing a good job at that.
I'm not on night shift, Harold. I'm in Thailand.
Oh, cool. So it was nice knowing you, Damo. I guess you'll never come back to WA. So you might have to just hang out at in Sydney for a bit or whatever. Have they got
Oh, I
internet in
don't know about
Thailand?
Sydney. What was that, Harold?
I was going to say, do they have internet in Thailand? Obviously so.
Everywhere I've been is been 5G everywhere.
Oh, really? Wow, that's awesome.
Better
Actually,
internet
Not
here
like
than in
our
Australia.
land.
Yeah, actually, I'd believe that too. I don't know if you follow Bjorn Nyland, but he does quite well. He's ethnic Thai living in, well, I think he might have been born in Norway actually. And he's there at the moment. He's selling his, I think it was an MG was it MG? I think it was an MG.
Yep. Yes,
And he's buying a Model 3 instead, mainly for his family, of course. And yeah, it's really interesting seeing him sort of driving around. And obviously for us, it's on the correct side of the road, but for him, it's the incorrect side. So that's always funny.
I looked at PlugShare and I think that MG must be quite popular here because pretty much whenever you look at the check-ins, it's all MG, probably 10 to 15 MGs to every Tesla.
Well, don't forget, Damo, that all the Teslas in Thailand are grey imports. So I forget the agent's name, but they're like a car dealer and they're purely grey imports. So they grey import from Hong Kong and the UK, because of course in Thailand it's right-hand drive.
Yeah.
So it's
Might be
all
the one I
complete.
was looking at yesterday in Bangkok. He's got brand new Model 3s.
Yes.
And some Model Ys there as well.
Yes, because yes, because the Model Ys are from Hong Kong. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so this company actually buys them locally, so in other words, in Hong Kong and in the UK, and then they just ship them across. And they sort of have this loose agreement with Tesla to sort of somewhat cooperate, although I think Tesla do it reluctantly. So I guess this company's basically said, look, we're going to do it anyway, and it would be better if you could give the new owners a better experience. So I noticed that, for instance, one issue, if you take a Tesla out of a country, like not the EU, of course, because that's all homologated, but if you take it, say from the States and bring it straight to Australia, the maps won't work, the navigation won't work because the SIM card won't work, and if you change SIM cards, that won't necessarily work because you need like even though it's a Telstra SIM card, it's a different data plan. It's they use like a third party that uses the Telstra network, and it's that third party that actually provides the internet. So I think it was some months ago that there was a bit of an outage, and that outage was due to this third party having a server outage, not Telstra. And all the Teslas in Australia went offline for a little while because there was this third party issue. So that can be go
Sorry?
Damo. Go Damo.
Harry mentioned this to me a while ago because before I bought my Model 3, I looked at get a there and shipping it over here, and Harry said even if you got it here, it's not going to work, like everything you were just saying.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I just lost signal for a couple of seconds. In fact, we can have like a live outage, and it was just right there. I just lost you for a a couple of seconds there, Damo. In fact, for 7 seconds.
I was just
So,
saying,
sorry
Harold,
about that.
That's okay. I was just saying that Harry was telling me, because before I bought my M3P, I looked at getting a plaid getting one from America or something and importing it here because they're so much cheaper over there. And Harry was saying that even if I've got the car here, that it wouldn't work. Like everything you were saying, it's the wrong region.
Yes, and in fact, it's the wrong charging port. So the American cars basically operate on single phase. So they've only got the wiring loom from the charge port door to the charger is only single phase, and it uses Tesla's proprietary charge port. So you couldn't charge it at a supercharger. You couldn't do anything with it. Really. And the maps won't work. The other issue is, of course, you've then got a left-hand drive car, which I'm not even sure if you're allowed, unless it was a classic car. I don't even know if you can drive a left-hand drive car that's not converted. And I mean, good luck trying to convert a Tesla. I don't even know how you'd even start to do that.
I didn't even get that far into it, Harold. Once Harry said that
Yeah.
it's not going to work, it's just no point, you know.
Yep.
It'd be fine if all you're doing is take it to the drags. Wouldn't be a problem.
Oh, yes. That's right, yeah. Well, if it's not licensed, or you take it to a farm or something, have it as a farm ute or something.
Push basher, yeah.
We'll do what Simone Gertz did. Simone Gertz did with that Model 3, and she turned it into a truckler. And she just cut the back out of the Model 3 and turned it into a ute. Just because you can. And in fact, I'm going to do my best to find that in 2 seconds. It won't take long.
Oh, so Harold, that company you were talking about was Watso Group in
Yes.
Bangkok.
That's the one.
That's Bjorn Island. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the video that I'm going to put up.
It's here. The truck the world didn't know it was waiting for. It's the dawn of a new beginning. Some trucks rely on roads already paved. Some choose to pave their own. Push past convention. Empower yourself beyond what's possible. And if the thing you want doesn't exist yet, you step up and make your own. Don't just leave a footprint when you can leave your mark. The power is in your hands to take charge.
That's funny.
Engineered to embrace every turn, while safely guarding what matters most. You choose where the road leads. The new 2019 Truckla. Available nowhere.
So there you go.
That's funny.
And of course, the next video actually shows that how she turned her Tesla into a pickup truck. So I just got the old angle grinder out and hacked out the roof and side pillars and all that sort of stuff.
Hacked it up.
Yep, literally hacked it up.
I don't know if.
Oh, sorry about that.
Damo,
What's
how
she gonna
did
do
you
when
get
the
to
fire truck
Thailand?
comes out?
Damo, how did you get to Thailand?
I flew there.
From Perth?
He didn't
No, he
swim.
flapped his arms.
I just thought he might have gone out from Broome or something.
Singapore to
Could have got a
Bangkok.
boat from Broome. No?
Perth, Singapore, Bangkok, Jared.
Oh, okay. How many people on the plane? 5?
There was about, I think there was 22 of us.
22 on a 400-seat or a 300-seat airplane. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, but you have to count the staff And apparently we're only allowed to have 220 people arriving every week in Australia for all the airlines. So 5 people may be all they can get on a plane to comply. That's what my son's been told because he's been trying to come back from overseas.
You got any problems getting back, Damo, or what?
Yeah.
Sorry, Carmen.
No, go ahead.
As long as Mark McGowan sticks to that February 5 opening up, I should be all right, Jared. But if he extends that or whatever, then yeah, I think I'm going to be stuck in Thailand.
I think worse places to be stuck.
Yeah, I know.
You can fall in love quite cheaply over there.
Yeah. I don't know. This is my first time, so, but yeah, loving it so far. I've only been here for a few days, but it's brilliant. It's great. Yeah, it is. Love it. Yeah, as long as he opens up on February 5, I shouldn't have any issues. So,
apparently,
top tip for Thailand is to ignore the south and go to the north.
Yeah, I'm in the north. I'm in Lampung, so.
Wicked.
Are you doing your nightly stroll around the women's latrine?
Surely I am.
Doing your little stalking night, are we, Richard?
Yeah, I'm on the hunt.
On the hunt.
I came with Singapore Airlines, Carmen.
But what airline?
Singapore Airlines.
Singapore, yeah.
Did you make you wear your mask the whole time?
Yep.
All right.
Yep, whole time.
And that just hurts in the back of your ears. That's just like sucky. That's just murderous.
No, that means you've got the wrong size.
Apparently, Qantas don't make you wear the mask the whole time on your way to London. People yeah. Apparently,
Well, on my way to Adelaide,
that's
they just said you had a meal, and then like it was sort of as long as you were sitting, you didn't really have to wear the mask. Oh no, sorry, you didn't have to wear the mask while you're eating or drinking.
Yeah.
On the way back from Adelaide to Perth, they said, well, you should have your mask on and only take it down between sips or between bites. And it's like, really? So you're supposed to like have it on and then take it off and then have a little cut of your meat. Well, it wasn't meat, but whatever. And then for every sip, you're supposed to sort of mask and demask per sip, but have it on generally all the time. But anyway.
Yeah. On a long flight, they give you fresh ones every few hours. And but if it's too tight on you, you've got the wrong size. You can get
this is one of those cloth ones that I bought, 3 lockdowns ago or whenever it was. That and the funny thing is, I mean,
go to Uniqlo and get a Japanese one. They're good.
Well, one of the fortunate things is, up until now, we've had lockdowns so infrequently that my mask would go stale. Like I'd have to go and wash it as the next thing happens because it goes all just gets because it's made of cotton or whatever, it goes sort of stale. But anyway.
You don't have to wear it in bed, Harold, when you go to sleep. Take it off.
Also, the mark is just open if you want to flash that, Harold.
Oh, of course. You guys with your porn. Hey, Marcus. Oh, there you go.
1,000. Oh, nice. 1,096. I'll take that. I'll take that any day. You beauty. Oh no.
Tell you what,
1,090. Sorry. Let's go, Damo.
I was saying this might interest a few of you solar guys. Coming into Singapore, I was flying over these solar farms that, my God, they're just huge, like size of a small city. And even in Thailand, flying to Lampung, in the middle of nowhere, you could just see clearly these solar farms. I sent George a photo of one of them from the air. Just massive solar farm.
Are you on your own over there, Damo?
No, I came with my missus and my daughter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But huge solar farms, like I've never seen anything like it.
The thing is, solar these days, to buy panels they're so super cheap. It's probably a pretty good thing of land use. Like your yield per square meter in you putting solar panels up is probably better than many crops. Or in some farms, you could almost have dual use where you could have, some sort of, I don't know about pasture, but you can have livestock sort of running underneath it or in between the gaps, and you can get a lot of money just making electricity for 5 cents a kilowatt hour
Yeah.
because the panels are so cheap.
These are huge farms. I just wonder why can't we do that in Australia? Like if they can do it in a I wouldn't say poor country, but country not as well off as ours, and they can do it here. Why can't we do it there? Is the first thing I thought of.
Because they've got good government over there, Damo. We've got corrupt leaders over here, and unfortunately,
Is it 100? If we have 100 kilometers by 100 kilometer square, that would be much more solar panels than you would need to power all of Australia, and that's just out of 100 kilometers square, which is nothing in Australia, which is millions of square kilometers.
It's not to do with that though, Harold. It's because the federal government subsidises all gas and coal at $1 million a minute, and to actually approve something like that means they're pretty much putting a foot in each basket, and you can't do both. You either fund coal and oil or you fund renewable. There's not really a place for both.
Yeah.
Well, our government said that you won't have any weekends if you have an electric car.
I've been sitting home every weekend. I've had my car. I didn't think I was allowed to go out anymore.
That's what Scott
happened?
Morrison said. He said that you won't be able to have a boat, and you won't go fishing, and you won't enjoy yourself anymore. And I believe Scott Morrison because he's a really honest prime minister, and he tells the truth, and he cares about people.
Special occasions.
I think he's like the RAC coming.
Yeah, special
Hang on,
occasions.
I think we might need to apply this. I think we might need to apply this.
He's more than the rainy day friend.
And shouldn't be taken as personal professional.
Actually, I'll take that one back. We might need to go this one.
Viewers are advised that this recording may contain references to Synergy, 2 Weeks, and Grimes. Anyone triggered by these or similar phrases should press pause and subscribe to the Nissan Leaf channel.
That's far better. Is that a
I bet you haven't heard that for a while, Damo.
My theory behind all that is,
I'm missing it.
Oh, sorry. We disengaged the autopilot and disengaged it. Sorry.
What's happening is that because of the stuff I just mentioned before, the time to invest in solar was like 15 years ago, not now. And the guy that owns the biggest solar company in China actually used to work for the CSIRO.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
It's just not been put on the roadmap for Australia. And what's going to happen is that as these resources are wanted less and less by the rest of the world, Australia's going to have to use more and more of it to meet the supply that the companies are producing because they can't sell it anywhere. The rest of the world's going to have a carbon price and Australia won't. And we'll be the only place in the world where the shit just ends up because there's no free reign pretty much on fossil fuel. And then once it comes where it doesn't exist anymore, then we're going to be so fucked because there's like no industry left anymore in Australia to actually produce revenue.
Well, we're already copying it with non-Euro. Is it Euro 6 or I know it's Euro 5. Is there a Euro 6?
Euro 5.
Yeah.
Is it just Euro 5 though?
Just Euro 5 at the moment, yeah.
Okay, because isn't it the fact that we can't have many Euro 5 trucks because of our high sulfur diesel?
Yeah, sulfur that's it.
Yep,
so those trucks can't even be bought here, even if you wanted to, because the way they work, the high sulfur would just wreck their emissions, mitigating equipment or whatever.
Vehicles, but not just that, they only offer shitty vehicles as well. So
because they're cheap,
like a dumping ground of the world's shittest cars,
And the thing is, corporations aren't evil. They just want to maximize their return on investment. So they'll just go where the low-hanging fruit is. So if Australia's got the lowest hanging fruit, well, then it doesn't make sense for them to waste money because it's not their job to waste money. So, of course, they're going to dump the cheap product on us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's frustrating. But I think
Very frustrating,
time
Russell.
where the time where ICE vehicles and electric vehicles are going to meet parity on initial cost is probably 2 to 3 years away. And by that time, even without any sort of government influence, people are just going to be buying those irrespective. And the people that are buying ICE vehicles at that point are either going to, I don't know, probably only have a couple of brain cells because what's the point? Or they just don't have enough supply to service the Australian market because there's still shit cars around and there'll be no government requirement for any sort of emissions control. So we'll just continue to get vehicles thrown at us for years to come while the rest of the world sort of transitions away a lot faster.
Well, Toyota in particular will be happy to supply, ICE cars to us.
Yeah.
Hyundai have
There's a
declared.
little weight. There's a little weight with that.
Well, at the moment there's this artificial, it's this strangeness of, while there are some industries that are completely laid to waste, and people working in those industries that are completely devastated by COVID. There are many other, or the vast majority, that have had all the COVID stimulus plans, the low interest rates, all of the rebates and all that sort of stuff that are going gangbusters, and people like many of us that are used to going on a couple of holidays, and people have got their wallets full of money that's burning a hole in their pocket, and they're buying new Hiluxes and Land Cruisers and whatevers.
And
the
money
you can't even buy a test.
I can't get them though.
Yeah.
In order to
Because I can't.
get it.
No, and you can't get it because
New Sahara's a year and a half away.
Yeah, and a lot of that too will be the chip crisis, which happens cyclically. It happens every dozen or so years, or probably more often than that. But last year, 2020 was that perfect storm of all the car manufacturers, a lot of finished goods manufacturers, electronics manufacturers, cancelled orders because they thought the world was going to sort of end up in a big depression, which didn't happen. And then of course you can't build your Sahara if you can't have the little chip that controls the airbag for the passengers, whatever, airbag. So Toyota aren't going to build all these chassis and do nothing with them. They just got to stop production. In fact, I think, was it Toyota or was it Ford with the Mach-E? I think they've suspended production for
Mach-E stopped. Yeah,
Mach-E until
And so is
February, I think.
So is the what is it, the GM one as well, the Bolt, is it, or whatever it is?
The
They've stopped
Bolt,
those as well.
yes. Oh, that was I think that part of that was the LG batteries.
The pouch batteries, yeah, but I think that's also to do with they just don't have enough stuff coming in. Yeah.
Yeah, and BMW go on.
With those subsidies that you're talking about before, the money that they spend as well, I guess the way it's been advertised is, hey, we're going to lose all these jobs in oil and gas and coal and whatnot. And actually, like, the impact on funding that they're giving to these industries is actually disproportionate to the number of jobs actually affected. If you look at how much they spend, if the same amount of money went into education or hospitals or whatever, they employ over 1,000 times as many people as what they would in the oil and gas industry. So for every like $1 billion they put in, it's like 8 jobs or something. Like, it's just ridiculous, the amount of it's crazy.
So go, Russell.
Yeah, so even the stuff they're talking about, like, and the example of that is like the carbon capture storage funding, how much money they're putting into like oil companies to try and do that, when the same amount of money could pretty much set up the whole of Australia into a renewable cycle with batteries and new grid infrastructure and everything within like a couple of years, just from like the funding from that stuff that's going to be relevant in 5 years' time.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, the way to solve the volatility of renewable energy, as in solar and wind, is storage. if you just bought enough storage, then the problem is literally solved, because the generation is vastly less than any conventional coal or any other fossil fuel plant. You know, you can jam as many solar panels in, you know, Australia is, well, actually that was one a little tweet thing that an exchange I had. It was a comparison of, it was to do with Starlink, strangely enough, to do with the fact that in America, you know, they've got a big continent. Well, it's like, yeah, America has a big, sorry, it's not a continent, but it's a big country. It's got 330 million people, but Australia is 79% the land mass of the United States, but we have 7.9% of their population. So our density is so vastly less. There's so much open space that, like I said before, if you had 100 by 100 kilometer array of solar panels, that would, I think Elon Musk said this a few years ago, that would be enough to either power, it might have been the world.
Wasn't it the US? I thought it was the US. Maybe it's not the same number. I heard him talking about the US before.
He was in Adelaide for a rocket conference, for lack of a better term. It was some not astrological.
I think I know what you're talking about, Harold, and I'm pretty sure that was the world. And then he did a smaller square, which was the batteries that would be needed for the world.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what he was talking about. But
yeah, it could be as little as 100 square, not 100 square kilometers, 100 kilometers by 100 kilometers, which is 10,000 square kilometers. Which, yeah, it's not a lot.
Sounds like
now,
too much for even the States, but
yeah,
Richard, just look over your right shoulder there. Is that Gina?
Yeah, she's hiding behind a tree.
That could Gina be stalking you.
Yeah,
She's running. She's come out for a bit of a run.
You see that behind the 5G mast?
Yeah, I can see her.
In front of the tree with the lights on it.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's the one.
that's
Yeah, she's
waiting there with her binoculars.
Yeah, she's stalking. No question about that. You be careful.
So Richard, do you get fish on Fridays?
Oh, of course. Oh no, sorry.
Crayfish.
Saturdays? No, is it Fridays? Yeah, Fish and Chip Friday, of course. Absolutely.
Awesome. And
freshly caught from the local.
Sorry, what ocean is right next to where you are? Like,
the Pilbara Ocean.
The Pilbara Ocean, right? Yeah, right. The Pilbara Ocean, and they have crayfish in the Pilbara Ocean.
Sure, in the Newman Lake.
Newman Lake. Oh, okay. That's good. Got some fresh stuff going on there.
Well, actually, if you go to Mount Tom Price, it's no longer a mountain; it's kind of a hole.
Yeah, that's right.
They've literally turned a mountain into a hole.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
because
it's on him.
No. Well, Tom Price, Thomas Price was the head of Kaiser Steel in America, and Hammersley Iron. Well, I think it's Hammersley Iron named the mine Tom Price after him because I think he was concerned that the world would run out of iron ore. Well, that his company, Kaiser Steel, would run out of a source of iron ore because they were making so much steel. So they sort of named Tom Price as a joke in honor of Tom Price. And of course, you're never going to run out of iron ore because there's just so much of it, especially right where Richard is. Because WA used to be an inland, a shallow sea, and when all those naughty bacteria created oxygen and they dropped out all the iron out of the sea, it all dropped in the Pilbara. What do you call it, Richard?
It's not actually about how much iron ore there is. It's are there deposits that don't have much sulfur and alumina and a few other nasties? That's actually the bigger issue.
You're right too. You're dead right. It's all, and silicon. I think is it silica? That's really bad. Or
silica.
is it yeah.
I have been to the Mount Nameless Ball.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh. That's cool.
My
But how can you
sister
have
was-
Mount? How can Mount Nameless be named? I mean, that's just a tautology.
Oh, I love this country.
Yeah.
How good are
My
Aussies?
sister
Oh,
was
I'm not going to
teaching-
name it. I'm going to call it Mount Nameless because it has no
Yeah,
name.
Emma
Yeah,
regularly
no,
says.
it's- yeah.
Emma regularly
That's what
says. No
it's
wonder you
called.
like Australia.
So,
You're
so hang on,
bloody
hang on,
literal.
hang on, Carmen. So hang on, Carmen. Sorry, go, Richard. We had a
no,
little bit of clash.
No, go, Carmen.
No, that's okay. My sister was teaching at the Ashburton campus, and she was part of the organizing committee for their Mount Nameless Ball. But that's what the mountain's called.
It sure is. Now go, Richard. You were saying?
No, I was only taking the piss. And Emma always says that. No wonder I love this country. I'm so bloody literal that it matches me perfectly.
That reminds me. For all of us of a certain generation, have you seen that old movie? It was done in the 1950s or 60s. They're a Weird Mob.
Yes.
Yeah.
With Nino Carlotta, and he's at the pub, and the guy goes, "Hey Nino, it's your shout." So then he goes, and this is right up your alley, Richard.
Yeah.
So why must I shout? And he's starting to shout because he's very literal.
Exactly what that's like one of my jokes.
Oh dear. Cool. All right. Well, it's getting a bit late towards the end of this
Yes.
this awesome 2021. I might just open the floor to any last comments or any questions, I dare say.
Yes. Have a very
Before
happy
we
New Year's Eve. And we'll talk in 2022.
yes, and we're not going to talk as soon as
No dancing. No dancing.
no.
Well, I'm having a party. I can dance at home.
No dancing.
Yes.
I always tell my wife that I dance on the inside, so I don't dance on the outside, just on the
And we will all
inside.
believe that.
Is that called IBS? Is it, Harold?
You're donga, Richard.
Yeah.
Geez, that's pretty flash.
I thought you were talking to me for a minute.
Is that the
Hey.
is that the presidential suite?
Yeah, Gina's just next door.
Oh, Jenny's is next door. Oh, that's why.
Look,
Okay.
Look, I've got a Model S Plaid and a Rivian
Oh.
1T
Oh,
on the
remember
wall.
the Rivian.
I know.
We'll have to talk about the Rivian thing.
Look,
Yeah.
look, I've got SpaceX rockets on this door.
Do they shut you down because of the porn?
Of course, porn. Yeah, right.
Yeah, all those naked girls. on the-
I worked on the original design of the comms for the camps for Roy Hill during construction, and I was
Oh, yeah?
specifically asked to provide data for the camps that had no filtering, no traffic monitoring, no
Yeah. Wonder
way
why.
of working out what anyone could see it was looking
Yeah.
at.
Is that because everyone's on Tesla.com
Sure.
/Model
Refreshing
Y,
for Model Y.
and they're refreshing Model Y? That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point.
All right. On that note, we were. Oh, this is for.
Hey, Richard's got something to say.
No, I was going to say good night. It's getting late.
Oh, bullshit. You
Good
can
night,
stay up for a bit longer, Richard.
Richard, we'll just be 2 minutes.
Yeah,
I
when
was
you
going
were
to say
younger.
a couple of weeks ago, or it might have been last week. I was mentioning that we were going to have a New Year's Day at watching the Shelley fireworks. Obviously, that's not a good idea at the moment, and we're looking at our Wednesday casual meetup on the 5th of January, which is the day after the currently planned mask thing. I dare say it's probably not a good idea to sort of do that right now. We might postpone that. So our next casual meetup is most likely going to be Sunday, early February.
Yeah.
Unless we get some really good news or something, but
Yeah.
we might as well just plan for early Feb on a Sunday, I think.
Cool.
Unfortunately. But obviously, Ask Us Anything will be back next year with a vengeance. And this time we might start introducing episode numbers because we've racked up a few. So, yeah, we might be doing that. But yeah, hey everyone, have an awesome New Year's. Stay safe. Thank you for persisting with this little program.
I've got one question.
Oh yes, Jared.
Why is Russell wearing a cricket shirt looking like Shane Warne with glasses? Is there something going on there or what? Is it?
I don't know what to say.
Are you a cricketer, Russell? Are you hidden behind that pissoir? I mean, I've seen you at work. I've seen you
I get
at
a
work.
different shirt every year. This is the you can't quite see it, but I get a new shirt every year. So just I don't know, they're nice and easy to wear.
He can only afford one a year, so that's his special shirt.
I wasn't sure it was like one of the props that he had the other week. Did you get a different one?
Oh, no, this one's got Velcro sides.
He's a cyclist. He's a cyclist, and he's in a yellow jersey, so he's in the lead. He's a winner.
Do you shave your legs, Russell?
No, they wax.
Don't they cyclists shave their legs and stuff?
No, wax. You wax your legs, not shave them.
Oh,
it's easier. Yeah.
Okay, on that awesome note, that's probably a really, really good time to usher out 2021, and let's hope that 2022 is oh man, it's a bit better, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey everyone,
Happy
New
Year,
everyone.
and hope you all had a good
Happy New Year, Damo.
Good night.
Take care. Good night. Have an awesome time, and we'll catch you next
Just remember, if
Wednesday.
anything, Harold's available to come over and put a roof on.
That's not true.
Harold's free.
It's just not true. It's not
As
true.
long as
Gotta
he's still got
go.
his credit card next year, all will be well.
Everyone's got his credit card. I've sent it
Uh oh, we're losing signal.
out.